To be honest, it's just, I think about, okay, I immediately go to, okay, what's the issue? What's happened the last 3 points? How do I put myself in a better position to get a better pass maybe? Maybe I haven't adjusted yet. I'm going to adjust my footwork or my positioning and serve receive. All right, now I'm going to focus on getting a really long approach. If they serve me short, my sideline, down the middle, no matter what, I'm going to get a big approach so that I've got, I like to call it, I like the movie screen in front of me. I don't go to the movies and sit in the front row and then I can't see the screen all the way. Get back and get a big approach so I can see the whole theater, all of the defense, watching, see everything. So that's immediately one of my things. Better position, my serve receive location, big approach so that I get a big window, I get the movie screen in front of me. And then I'm not going to predetermine what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself I'm going to get myself to the 99th percentile of effectiveness siding out, and then I'm going to react in the moment.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's webinar. I am Mark Burik. For those of you who don't know me, I play on the AVP and I play a bunch on the FIVB. We're going to get back there soon. And today we're going to be talking with Brandon Joyner, my partner at Better at Beach, as well as, of course, Casey Patterson. And we wanted to discuss a lot of setting and hitting. So we are going to get fired up in a few minutes, but just stay patient, hang tight. What I do want you to do is get a pen, get a paper, write stuff down that you learn or that you have questions about, because at the end we're going to try to do a live Q&A, but you're going to have to use the question and answer section for that. So below, if you're looking at all of your options, you should have a Q&A section. That's where you put your important questions that you want Casey, me, or Brandon to answer. Other than that, you have your chat function. So I also want you to take a look at your chat function. And if you click on that right now in your chat function, I want you to make sure that you are sending to all panelists and attendees, so that in the chat section, everybody is live and can see what we're writing. Go ahead and all panelists and attendees. And since you are here early, you guys will be my guinea pigs for testing sound and video. So could you please, if you hear me, go ahead and write yes in the chat. Thank you, Holden. Thank you, AK, Isaac, Dominic, Chris, David, Steve, amazing. Buxton, what up, brother? Lucas, welcome back. Adam, James, Francis, Jason, cool. Good to have you guys all here. In the chat, I want to know what you guys are looking forward to most. You know, if you could get something out of this session, Brandon, me, and Casey, what are you looking for? It's a good hat, man. Thank you, appreciate it. So go ahead and use the chat. And you know, what is it that you hope to get out of this session? Because we are talking about setting and attacking. Those are the two skills that Casey wanted to cover. But I still want to know what you would be interested in learning. And if you could pick Casey's brain, if you could pick my brain, if you could pick Brandon's brain, what would you be interested in learning? We got offensive tips and strategies, learning how to set butter. I can respect that. I like that. Okay. Attacking strategies. Isaac, what do you mean by attacking strategies? So up to 31 participants, people are going to be rolling in. If you are rolling in, guys, I want you to find the chat function and I want you to set it at all panelists and attendees. Please just let us know what you are looking for, why you came to this webinar and what you want to learn today. Tips for improving attacking, proper arm swing, footwork, utilizing vision, how to properly place your arms when setting, how to adjust your offense throughout the game in response to the other team's play. I like that. You look at the defense right before you spike and tips on how to do that. I'm going to be welcoming Brandon Joyner into the cast. Should be ready to rock. And Casey will be joining us in just a couple minutes. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How you be?
I'd be good. How are you? I'm back.
What have you been doing since yesterday?
You know, I changed my shirt and my hat, so that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Still no haircut? That's good.
Yeah, no haircut yet.
Stay strong, man.
Yeah, no, I got this. No, just been plugging away, working, and started a new book.
Like reading?
It's pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually turning pages.
Nice. Hey,
Yeah.
what's your what are your top 3 sports or volleyball books that you think that like have changed your career? Because I remember you talking to me about a couple of them, but I want to share them.
Ooh, See, mine are they're definitely more like life-changing books. I wouldn't say that it's more volleyball. It's been stuff that's really, well, first, the book that I love the most is The Alchemist. If you've never read that, it's definitely a book worth reading.
Right, Coelho, the Brazilian guy, right?
Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. He, like, all of his books are really well written. And actually, I give credit to that book with actually getting me to move to California.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that book kind of set me on a path to chase more and experience more. And so, yeah, that book kind of got me going.
Because it's a life goals book, or it's a chase what you feel in your heart book, right? You know?
Yeah. It's kind of one of those, what you said second, about kind of trusting your intuition, trusting the path that's set out before you, and then kind of capitalizing on it. That's a book that I really like. And then this past fall, I read another book called Celestine Prophecy.
Casey's running a little bit late. He's on a bunch of phone calls, but that's all right. We got some time.
It's called Celestine Prophecy. I just wrote it in the chat. And that one really sent me on a journey of how I wanted to start, kind of continue portraying myself. It has to do a lot with like energy and using that energy to affect others and affect yourself. Awesome. And so that book has had a lot, like, has helped me a lot, especially with my in-game kind of atmosphere, or the way that I control, the way that I react to temper tantrums or anything like that. One thing that it's kind of helped me a lot this year is enjoying the moment a lot and being positive, especially while on the court and playing in difficult situations, and in coaching. It's helped me a lot in coaching as well, because it talks a lot about, like, if you and I are having a conversation and I'm saying a lot of negative things, then obviously you would probably cut off that conversation. It's something that you're not going to welcome, because it's something that doesn't feel good coming at you. So, like, it's definitely helped me with my body language and my vocabulary when I'm coaching, to make players feel more comfortable. And definitely just overall field of practice has just gotten better, not only in my own practices, but the ones that I'm coaching as well. So
interesting that, like, to be a good teammate or a good partner, like in life, you do have to learn a little bit to change what you say or how you say it, because of how people absorb it. I'm never going to tell somebody, like, don't be yourself, but at least be aware of how somebody else is receiving it.
Right.
Because that can help you. Like, you don't have to not be yourself. You can do whatever you want, but in order to be powerful, you do have to recognize what effect you're having on another person when you say things a certain way, because you might be closing off your own opportunities. And people don't get training on how they speak and how they interact. And there needs to be a lot more trainings available, and I think, like, open and acceptable for people to be learning those.
Yeah, it's it really, especially for you and I, for those of you that don't know, Mark and I went to college together, played at George Mason University, and kind of very quickly we both were pushed into this leadership role, especially the environment at George Mason. It was a very much do it my way or the highway kind of atmosphere. It was welcomed by most of the athletes that were playing with us, but there were definitely some times during my playing career where, especially after you guys left, where I was stuck in a really weird situation, because we had some guys that came in that were phenomenal volleyball players, but they just didn't react the same way that I did to you guys. So when I was trying to use the same leadership that was given to me, I ran into a lot of roadblocks, and not only was it detrimental to our team, but it was also detrimental to me, to where I even went through a point where I was like not enjoying practice much anymore. And it was just a really weird time. And I went and talked to Fred, who was our coach, and he told me that the atmosphere had changed and it was different. And unfortunately, I was so young that I didn't really pick up on it. And at this point I was a sophomore or a junior maybe, but the third year, and I played for 5. So it's like, I don't think I was really ready to lead the team yet, but with the guys that we had on the team, it kind of fell to be my responsibility. Yeah. So that team, the team after you guys left, we operated where it had to be really positive energy. It was a lot of build up. It was a lot of, you can do this kind of stuff, which hand holding, which like was complete opposite of what we had.
That's probably like one of the best lead-ins we can give for Casey, because he's here waiting for us, so we're going to bring him on in a second, and he is by far the best person in the world to practice with and against in all of my experience, like playing 20-30 different countries, like all different practices and different people to play against. Having him on the other side of the net is awesome. Having him on the same side of the net's got to be great. But just like the fire that he brings, and he knows how to dig into you, but keep it like positive so that you don't get pissy and then you throw away your practice, because he knows that some people get too mad and then they'll just throw practice away. But I think he shoots like just the right amount of digs, right amount of jokes, and nonstop energy. I'm excited for the energy that he's going to bring this.
Yeah. All the practices that I've been in with him have been by far the most entertaining practices I've had in my beach volleyball career. It's been amazing.
So without further ado, we are bringing on Casey Patterson. Hopefully he's got his window set.
Maybe shaved. Let's see.
You think he shaved?
Oh, no, didn't shave.
What's up, guys?
Oh,
man.
man.
How are you, man?
What a backdrop.
Good, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Is that your room? Is that your bedroom?
Yeah, this is my it's just above my backboard in my room. So just stay motivated.
Your backboard.
Just kind of rotate, that's the goal. Is I kind of want to look like that guy, but I'm guessing he's only like 5'2". That's why he's so jacked. I don't know. He's got the beard. Yeah. No, this is an office that I help with a solar company. I help them with some of their social media and brand marketing stuff. And so this is when you walk into their office, this is the wallpaper. So I love it.
Sick.
When you say you help them with their social media, like did they come to you as a consultant for how to promote themselves, and then you give them that, or you push like for them as an affiliate?
Yeah, I was kind of it's my buddy actually a couple buddies that own it, and they had a gym in their office, and I used to come work out, and I was like, dude, I could help you with some social media and stuff like that, and helping with kind of your marketing campaign going forward. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll toss it around and consider it. And so then they came back to me and they're like, dude, let's go, let's figure something out and let's start promoting it. And because it's fairly new company, and they're growing so fast, they're like, dude, we want to look cool and have some more content and have stuff pumping out daily. So it was kind of a connection through a friend, and then it turned into a really good gig for me, especially right now when we can't play any volley.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick. That's nice job converting like everything that you have done and learned about promotion and content and fan and spectator engagement, and then converting that into something you can do beyond volleyball.
Yeah. Luckily it panned out. Yeah, I feel like that's a huge thing for us as athletes, is we get this like cool platform on the AVP. So it's like, well, what ways can we help elevate ourselves using that besides just spiking a ball? And especially when you get older, it gets harder and harder to spike a ball. So the other things where you don't jump, not having to jump is pretty huge right now.
You're saving the longevity for sure.
It's perfect. Knees feel great.
So my brother was giving me last night, we were talking, and he's starting a coffee company as well. So he's like getting into the small business stuff. And he gave me some good ideas for questions to ask. And he said, like, one of the big things that he would be curious about asking you was, what do you think is the next catapult after volleyball is done? Like, what do you see your transition like in 5, 6, 7 years once you're done playing?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I feel like that's something that we all kind of want to have a little bit of a head start on, whether we're just starting or we're in the middle of our career. I feel like that kind of stuff is huge, because Jake used to always quote, like, I think he heard it from someone else's popular quote, like, an athlete dies twice, right? You retire and then you officially die. So it's like you die halfway through when you can't play your sport anymore. So it's like, for me, it's always like, dude, what do I enjoy doing? I love talking to people. I love coaching and instructing and helping people turn that light switch on when they're playing. So coaching is always going to be an avenue that I'll take. How far or deep, I'm not sure, but I know that that's something that, especially with how Division I sports has gone lately for women, right now. Like the job opportunities are much better than it was even 3 years ago. So I think there's an opportunity there. I think continuing to do things that I do with social media and kind of just leveraging the kind of my resume, like, hey, I got a chance to go to the Olympics. I got a chance to be a pro for a long time and win some tournaments. And if we look at those things, that's my resume. That's all I have to show. And so my plan is to kind of utilize the relationships I've built over the years with the sponsors that I currently have, or ones that I'm currently talking to. A lot of times now when people start hearing, hey, if you're not playing full time on the World Tour, or you got some more time, this exact scenario, hey, why don't you help us run our social? So I think the number one thing for you guys is, for every athlete especially, is do a great job of taking the time to interact with people after matches, during the tournament, when you're, at an event that's not even with volleyball, and just open your mouth and get your name in their mind, right? So that they can remember you. Because that's basically all I try to do, is create good relationships and cultivate them, and then something would happen. So, I mean, that's kind of my
super in your
cultivating.
That's up your alley, right? Because you are personable, like you're friendly,
Right.
you're easy to talk to.
Yeah.
I don't think that would fit like a lot of people.
Right.
But it would be advantageous because, I don't know if you follow like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, all of these like amazing entrepreneurs. Yeah. And you have to know people in order to get to know more people. Right. And as soon as like somebody else can open a door for you or walk you into a room and be like, this is my friend Casey. And then they're like, oh, you know him? Okay, you got to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connect the dots. Right. And that's what basically what you guys are doing. You're doing that in a way where you're helping people get better at something that maybe they didn't focus on super early in life, or they did. But the moment that you help them improve this much, they're immediately like such a good relationship for you. And then they're constantly going to be opening doors for you. And so then it helps you, and just coaching alone, whether it's anything. I mean, that's the key to success, is just the connections and cultivating those relationships.
Here's one question I have for you, because me and Brandon were just talking about partnerships and the energy that you give somebody and how they receive it. And like, I know, I played with Hudson Bates for a while. He's now the associate or assistant coach at Ohio State men's program. And me and him had a very specific way of talking to each other, and it was super dry. And we would like just hammer each other in the middle of the match. Like, you suck.
I remember.
Oh, do this. But we loved each other, and we knew that, we had each other's backs. And then I kind of brought that mentality to a few of the next partnerships, and I looked at everybody. I looked at what Hudson could do. And then I only saw in the next partner, instead of what they could do, I looked at them as what they lacked in comparison to Hudson, instead of what they're doing well that Hudson didn't have. And I feel like I ruined probably a couple of good opportunities because I didn't recognize that early enough. And now that I've had like my first long-term girlfriend, thank God I'm still holding on to her. She's teaching me about like how to hold on, how to compliment, and how to accept and promote the best parts of somebody else. So how do you take that energy with your partners? I think you've always talked about how to maximize your partner and make them the best, but could you just on that for a bit?
Yeah, I love that analogy, because what works with some partners is like maybe the worst way to approach another partner. So for me, it's always like, first of all, being positive is like the main focus of mine. Like, I think being a setter in college and in high school, you just blame yourself and move along, and you want to like maintain everybody's attitude. I'm always checking to make sure everybody feels good. Hey, how's my outside hitter? How's my 0-2? How's my 0-1? Like, what are they doing? Are they communicating? What is their eye contact? What's their body language like? Like, all those things I'm constantly like monitoring. Like, okay, I need to set him the X2 and let him bounce the ball, and he'll be fine for me the rest of the time. You know what I mean? Like, you had to kind of manage a lot of different types of humans. And so I think with each partnership you transfer into, number one, for me, it's always been like, okay, how do I be positive and bring energy? I have to bring that no matter what. No matter who the partner is, that will always work, because that's a positive, like infectious, no matter how you play, like you enjoy having fun versus getting yelled at. So for me, I always think about that. Then two, I feel like each team has its own identity. With you and Hudson, it was dry. It was like all heart. You guys were grovelly. You were nasty. You never gave up. Like, and Hudson was ready to fight at any time if you needed him to. And so you guys were like, no, like that seriously was, you guys were just out there being warriors, and that was awesome. And that worked for you guys, and you guys did well. And then you get to a guy that might be a little bit more sensitive because he hasn't been coached that style. You know what I mean? Like the next guy's a little bit different. I think finding what your identity as a team is and talking about it, like having a meeting. Like with Troy and I, we had a meeting. Okay, what's our identity? Okay, we need to side out at a really high clip, and we need to be super grovelly. We need to like never give up and outwork every team we play. Like that's who we have.
I think that would be the identity for every team. Like we're gonna outwork, we're gonna hustle at all times.
Right.
Do you think there's any team that says nah?
No, right. I agree. I think that has to be like everyone's like your cornerstone, and then you build around that. I feel like that should be your cornerstone. Then it's like the more you start to practice and start to feel out what works for you, you're going to add pieces of that. Okay, I'm going to add this cornerstone now. No, hey, let's be great at running the four defense and make sure that our timing is perfect every time. Like that's what we're going to do. And no matter what, we can count on that being something that's a staple for us to score. I think with each partnership, that should be a goal and that should be a team talk. Like, hey, who are we? Okay, now how do I approach this? When you're not playing well, like for me, if I make a few errors in a row and it's like a high pressure situation, the last thing I need is my partner to give me this tone. Like, let's go, dude, come on. Like the last thing I need is my guy giving me like a somewhat of a like edgy negative tone as if I don't know that I'm playing bad. And I think we all would agree, right? Like, listen, bro, like we're all our worst critic, right? Like we're all like, dude, even when you side out, but they touch it, you're like, oh, I got to be better, right?
Oh, okay. Now you want me to come on? All right. I didn't realize that you wanted to be there.
Oh, I wasn't trying before.
I'll put it on this point.
I thought you wanted me to give up our 4-point lead first and then side out. Okay, my bad. Right, exactly. So I think for me personally, a tactic that I've started to learn about myself, and I think that's a big part of how you work with the team and how you can be a better partner for your partners, is understanding yourself even better. Like for me, let's say that happens. Well, the last thing I want is that tone, that aggression, and then the guy, kind of being like, well, dude, it's not my fault. Like, I'll never do that to my partner and be like, dude, let's go, just side out. I'm like, hey, do we need to run a quick set? Do we need to go back? Do I need to set you off the net? Do you need to pass off and kind of act like we're out of system? And then they pull and I throw you in system with the set. Like, what do we need to do to get you comfortable? So I've got those keywords that I can help my partner. Then let's say it's my partner that's playing that. I want to take all the attention off of them. So I'm going to wipe my shades. I'm going to joke with somebody in the crowd. I'm going to talk to the ref. I'm going to talk to the guys across the net, but in a way where I'm going to take that attention where you feel like you want to hide under a rock because you haven't sided out a few times and now it's match point and you had a 4-point lead. Now everyone's looking at me like, well, what's Casey doing? And everyone forgets about Mark, and Mark can start to get back to where he's comfortable and he's relaxed and he's ready to side out. And then I'm going to say, hey, dude, whatever you do, I might just go on too. Don't worry. Like, we'll take care of it. Hey, let me know what you want to set. If this happens, we'll go here. If this not there, like, I think that like universe, you need to be great at filling that universe with communication and understanding how your partner reacts to those situations. So for me, that's always my focus, is how does my galaxy, where is it revolving? How is it spinning? Where are we at each point?
Well, if you're playing with somebody like Nick, right, who he loves the fight. Like when he's down or he just got punched, that's when he comes back and he punches a lot harder.
For sure.
Would you kind of like let him sit in that moment?
I think I would find things and be like, you gonna let him do that to you, dude? Like, I feel like that's kind of what Phil does. He's like, dude, $5 says you can't side out this next ball. You know what I mean? Just add something on top of that and give him that like bulldog mentality again, where he's like, well, no one believed in me. I'm the little guy that should, you know what I mean? Like that whole mentality, the Ty Trampoline mentality, like, all right, I'm going to start slicing ankles and Achilles. Like, I'm going to do whatever I can to win this fight. You know what I mean?
I love it.
So I think understanding that and who your partner is and how you can kind of, in those situations, what's going to work for them. That's how you be a great partner.
That's awesome. Obviously, you're a pretty fan favorite on the AVP. People like to watch you play. And a lot of it has to do with you, with how vocal you are. And I actually remember, well, this was probably a couple months ago now, but at practice, like you were talking a lot, and I like tried to whisper to somebody else at practice, and I was like, man, he talks all the time. Does he do this all the time? And you heard me, and you were like, well, I talk in practice because I got to prepare so I can talk during tournaments.
I remember that.
Have you always had that kind of entertainment kind of mentality while you've been on the court, or did you have that when you were playing indoor? Or is it something that you kind of brought to the beach?
Yeah, I think, dude, to be honest, in high school, I was like more just positive energy guy. And then when I got to college and started playing with Brazilians and watching how they were interacting with the other side and with their guys, and I was like, oh, that's even more fun, right? Like even more fiery. And then it just started to evolve. And then I would just talk more and more. And it got to a point where I like was practicing it so much in practice that when I would start to play, it was so easy to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is so entertaining, because when I started playing beach, I'd watch guys who were very like methodical and very robotic, and they got the job done. But it was just like, dude, do you even enjoy being here? Because we're all bored watching. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even having fun watching. And so I think it was kind of twofold. It helped me play better. And then two, I wanted it to be something that people wanted to watch to kind of hopefully like elevate the game.
Yeah.
So if you practice it in practice, you know what I mean? A don't pull on me or an invisible Trevor Crab and you're talking trash to him on an open net swing, like that's just all in fun, but then it pays off. And then Troy pulls on you on stadium and you're yelling at him mid swing. You know what I mean? Or guys like that, like, and that makes for such a fun, entertaining moment, but it's just natural because you've already been practicing it. So for sure, I think it definitely evolved into something that now is just, that's who I am. Didn't start that way though.
Such an amazing point that you're going to be doing that in the game, right? You're going to be, and so many people, like, they'll practice one way and then all of a sudden it's match time, and that testosterone and the energy level is like, now it's the match.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Every part of you, every like muscle fiber right now is at a different tension than was during every one of your practices. So now you're a different person.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're loose and calm and talking and having fun, and then you go to play and you're like, oh, it's the same. This is awesome. But now there's more of a crowd to entertain. Wow, this is better, right? And then it just makes it actually makes it more comfortable and more fun, because I would way rather be in a stadium court full of fans heckling me than on court 17 by the bathroom in Manhattan that's on the angled court with no one watching. I'm like, I'm at a huge disadvantage over there versus at stadium with all the pressure. Like, I would way rather have that.
And I feel like you definitely get rewarded for bringing that energy. You probably get put on courts that are going to allow the audience to watch you, which is cool.
100%. I feel like every athlete needs to identify themselves with like a signature look, a pink hat, a mohawk, long braided hair, like something just a little long plastic shorts to the mid shin. Like, that's the thing you do.
And there's not many people that can pull that off, if anyone.
Right. That was a special time. There was no one else bringing that look, but you could see from far away. You recognize, you know what I mean? Like, you've immediately identified yourself for fans, right? So that's a part of it. And then I think just that whole entertainment factor and being someone that people enjoy watching. I feel like we all are that person. It's just in which direction are we going to elevate that specific personality trait of ourselves? You know, it's not all the same, but we all have something entertaining and fun to bring. Okay, what is it, and how do I elevate it so that I get to be on stadium more, or people recognize you more, and then it elevates your brand, and you're getting sponsored. You know, it's for the greater good for yourself.
So for everybody who's here right now, we just want to run to get you guys involved. I'm just going to launch a couple of polls here, so it should pop up on your screen. We just got a couple questions for you so that we can get some stats afterwards. But since Casey's here and we've had a number of different talks with different guests in the last week, and we've touched on different topics, we actually want to know what you guys want to hear, because you know, Casey puts out a ton of content, and he does it for the fans. He does it to interest you. And we've started really ramping up our content as well. So we're going to launch this poll, and it's, what do you want to hear from our guests, right? So we got a number of answers here, and it's, what do you want to hear from our guests? And I'm just going to shut this down in 30 seconds, but it's video analysis of their performance. Do you want the guests teaching a skill, like Casey teaching to set today, Casey's teaching to hit today? Do you want live Q&A where you guys get to ask questions? Do you want their origin stories where they have the biggest mistakes and the biggest failures of their lives, what workouts or drills they do, and then their game mindset strategy? And I think we just talked about today, like, a lot of that game mindset and strategy for teammates and how to help them. So Casey, if I could lock you into like our first takeaway from today, if your partner doesn't side out, let's say 2-3 times in a row, what are the first words or first questions that you ask them? Because you said you would ask a question about like their set or their tempo. What's your first reaction after their like second or third non-side out?
I think first of all is might not be the most effective way of doing it, but what I've noticed is I'll immediately blame myself in a positive way. Like, hey, that set was too tight. It kind of tailed towards an end. It trapped you. That's my bad. Let's run. And then I want to give them an option. I want them to take their mind off what just happened, who's watching, what the score is, to what set do you think you're the most confident putting away right now? Hey, should we run quick? Should we go back? Should we run tempo to the pin? Do you want to fake, pass and have me go on 2, or fake and then set, like, what do you want me to do? Like, what should we do? How can I help you? And I think that immediately turns their mind from, oh my gosh, what just happened? We were up 3 points. Oh crap, my girlfriend's watching. Oh, that girl that I was super into. You know what I mean? Like, whoever you are in life, like, you're thinking of all those things. So if I can hurry and switch that off and be like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I want to run that tempo set to the pin. I'm going to do that. Sweet. And then I'm going to give them as much confidence as possible. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to play out some scenarios for them. And I might talk too much in between serves, but I feel like it fills that void of their thought, right? And I can answer for them. Hey, watch if they serve you short to the sideline. Let me shift over and take a little bit more middle. So they've got to serve right in your lap, and then there's no way they can stop you. You know what I mean? I want to constantly be giving him thoughts that help him feel confident, like his best, favorite, most effective set. And then I'm going to build him up. I'm going to constantly be building up before that serve happens. And I'm going to give him some scenarios to look out for. Hey, watch for that short serve on your sideline. You can take a step up, I'll guard the middle. Like, I want to solve as many problems before the actual serve happens, so that my partner has been thinking, okay, we're going to run my best set. I'm going to be super confident. Probably going to go OT, high middle. I'm going to try to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Casey said, watch the sideline. Okay, I'm going to take a shift over. So, okay, I have less responsibility to pass that middle ball. Okay, good. He'll help me out. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm giving him confidence and relieving him of some of his duties that would normally his job. And that way, now, hopefully I've given him from a 40% confidence, maybe I can kick him up to a 65, 70, right? And then maybe something weird happens and we can side out. Like, that's my goal. And that's what I would do if that scenario would happen. And then auxiliary things would, hey, let me manipulate the ref a little bit. Let me talk to him. Let me pause. Let me wipe my shades. Let me give my guy a breather. Let me, fake timeout. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, play the game a little bit. Like, play the game. Give your guys some time to recuperate. And I feel like that would be my technique in that situation. Right or wrong, I think that's what I do.
I love that. I think taking the sorry, Mark. Taking the responsibility off of them is huge. And then not only taking that pressure off of them, but then also filling their mind with thoughts that are going to help them win the next point. That's huge. I actually haven't really thought about that too much. And I have noticed how much you talk in between points, but knowing that is the direction you're trying to go, I'm sure that's why you guys are always so successful. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's been a cool thing. I think that helped me from indoor as a setter, right? Like, you're constantly, like, going back to what we talked about earlier, like, you're just managing emotion. That's all it is, dude. Volleyball, it's fun and it's stress. Those two things. And if you're riding one more than the other, you're either going to win or you're going to lose. You know what I mean? Like, you're either having fun and you're free and you're in that flow and everything's calm and cool and you're reading the ball and you're digging everything and you're siding out and the blocker can't even touch you. And you're just like, and then you go back and you bomb 3 aces and you're like, this is so much fun. Or you're overthinking every aspect of what's happening, how fast the wind is, who's watching. Should we switch sides? I don't know. Like, maybe I'm better on the left. I don't know. I hit that 3 balls out. I got stuffed. I can't see the blocker. The defender's double faking. Now he's staying home. You know what I mean? Like, it turns into Last Samurai. You're just like, dude, I'm thinking about too many things. And then you're just bouncing stress off everything that you look at. And you're like, dude, okay. So my job as a partner is, how do I just get that stress or a majority of it out of the way and let you just have fun again and be confident in who you are and your ability? So for me, it's just managing emotion.
It's such a higher level way of looking at, like, what I think everybody normally looks at. Like, how do I pass better? How do I set better? All of this. And then once you've got those basics up to, like, your 80-20, like, once you've covered the majority of that, then you just got to understand how you're feeling, how your partner's feeling, and then be able to play with the most people possible. Like, this whole love story, when we talk about romance, that you belong with one person, that's not going to serve you very well in beach volleyball. Like, you've got to train yourself to get along well and find emotional matches for yourself as a partner. And like, how do I change to make this person better?
Right.
What do I need to tell them? What are their keywords or their triggers?
Do you ever allow your partner to feel that stress? Like, I know you try to talk them out of it, but like in practice, do you ever allow them to go through those pain points without you? Or is that something, or do you just go into it and say, you know what, this isn't an individual sport. This is a partnership, and this is the way that I am a partner?
To be honest, I have in practice, because I feel like in some practices, if I'm not talking a lot and I'm quiet, I'm probably not having a great practice. And that's an indicator of probably giving away too many secrets right now. Like Mark said, Casey's super quiet, we got him. You know what I mean? Like it's a big tell for me is, but I think at the same time, you need to experience those things. Like, I feel like we're becoming less and less resilient because the game got faster, the court got smaller, the ball's easier to control. We train like less time because that's an unfortunate, because we got to go make money somewhere else. But at the same time, like we're not experiencing all those emotions all the time. So I feel like that's a great point and I've experienced it myself where I go through this time during practice where I feel like maybe I should stop playing volleyball altogether. But
how many of us
that and being in that moment helps you realize who you really are. You know what I mean? Like everyone says you learn more from a loss than a win. And it's like this, you hear that all the time, but it's true. And that's true for a reason. So of course you let your partner kind of go through the trenches a little bit and kind of hopefully build up a little bit of resilience, and then give him a little nuggets here and there. Hey dude, why don't you play with your timing a little bit? Or hey, why don't you just block line and just delay line the rest of practice and see what happens and see what you see. Let's see if that helps you come out of this, because that's something that I've been trying to help Troy with is like, we'll go back practicing with anybody, but like, hey, I want you to recognize this moment and how it feels. And I want you to, going forward, try to figure out a different strategy on how to get out how that feels. Whether it works or not, let's keep experimenting on something new so that we can go, oh, there's one thing. Okay, we can hold on to that. And now, you know what I mean? When a team is siding out at will, right, let's go grab that nugget. Let's go grab that specific tactic that worked for us. And let's try that. At least in your mind, you're more confident because you're like, oh, it worked before. So I think letting them kind of go through that, and then as a team, recognizing it, how do we make it better? Because I think a lot of people go, dude, I had a terrible practice. Well, their partner probably let them go maybe a little too long, and we didn't talk about the situation at hand. Like, hey, dude, how can I help you? Like, I think you always want to go like, dude, I've been there before. Over my career, I've been there more times than you've ever been. You know what I mean? So here's what's worked for me. And then go get your water and let him do his thing and have his quiet time and come back, and hopefully he comes out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're constantly just trying to elevate his mindset versus what he thinks, because no matter where you're at in life and your career, I feel like there's always something someone else can help in a way or direct you in the right thought process. So I think letting them go through it a little bit, build up some resilience, not be hand fed everything all the time, but then like fix it and learn from it, and then try to eliminate it as much as possible.
I like that you said that, because I think people like get really super frustrated when they're losing at practice or whatever. Yeah. And when you say you have Troy work on just swatting line blocks, like even if somebody's coming on a freight train, you know, just go ahead and reach up, make sure he does not touch the line, and see what timings you need to change to do that. Like, why don't more people in their own practices, and, you know, I've gone this with Logan, with Ian last year, where it's just like, hey, I know we're going to get dug a lot, but for the next half of a set, we're going to hit cut shots. Like, yes. See if we can do it under pressure in every moment. And like, if we really, really, really suck at cut shots, then we're not going to do it on Friday. Like, yeah. Right. You know, if we don't hit any today, it's Wednesday. Like, sorry, but that's going to be outside of our game plan, because it's obvious that we're not prepared for that yet. And if you don't rep out certain skills again and again and again, you don't actually realize how good or bad you are at them. They just hide because you make a different decision the next play.
I love that, dude. Forces you out of your shell. Then you're having to hit a cut shot with like 5 different body leans and approach speeds, and trying to figure out like, okay, well, if I have to do this, what are the 150 ways I can change everything else leading up to my hand contact that's not the same? Well, okay, that might be the answer. But in a lot of these players' mind, it's like, no, just keep hitting the cut. Oh, practice sucked, dude. This is like, you know what I mean? But that's true. You help realize your strengths and weaknesses. And then, I mean, isn't that like a Karchi thing? He'd be like, okay, I'm only going line today. And that's all he would do. And he would just figure out a way to win only going line. I feel like that's a great mentality, because you're by like 3 points in, the team's starting to figure out that's what you're doing. So now that's the real challenge. Now as a team, you're like, all right, dude, how are we going to win this with only that option? And I feel like that's a great way to build up, like I keep saying it, but become more resilient and learn specific tools within one skill that you thought you had the answers for. Well, now there's 50 different fixes within that. You got 20 tools to fix that line shot. I think that's great. I think that really makes you a really good player.
So guys, second takeaway, you know, the first takeaway we had today from Casey was, if your partner doesn't side out 2 or 3 times in a row, ask first of all, take a break. If you're in the middle of the match, find some sand to wipe off, joke with somebody, and then ask them if they want to run a different set. Don't be like, don't say that, come on, dude, but ask them, hey, want to run one to the pin? Sometimes people take do you want to set me on two? They take that a little bit wrong, but I'd say, hey, give me a nice high pass. I'll fake the option and then I'll give it to you. And if it's wide open, then you hit that option. But just a question of what different set or what different play you can run right away. And then the second one that we have here is, if you guys are in practice, go ahead and pick 2 swings to win a match on that practice. Like, say, today I'm detonating cross and I'm hitting cut shot. And those are the only things that we're going to work on for 2 hours. And that's how I have to learn how to win here. And you learn all of the different types of cross, like seam, sharp, cut, jumbo, high ripped hands. Like, there's so many different versions of cross and line, like you said. So
what if that's what you do anyway? Because those are the only shots you have.
You got my poke back.
Casey, we had normally we wouldn't break for like a Q&A at all, or at this point, but somebody asked a pretty good question and said, what if you were the one in the stressful situation, not your partner, like during a match? What are there any tips that you have that are pretty quick?
Yeah, I think I've actually had that conversation with a lot of my partners, and being like, hey, dude, when I get this way, I'm not going to be playing very well. So let's say that scenario happens. Like, I got blocked. I don't feel like I can see the court. My legs feel terrible. Like, there's all these excuses you could have, and I'm just not performing well. Well, like I said, the last thing you want is that negative tone, all these things. So for me, what I do for my partners, I love having them kind of do those same things for me. They're going to talk to the ref. They're going to wipe their shades. They're going to build me up with a set that I know I'm the most confident in, so that I immediately think, oh yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going to get my head back to a place where I'm confident. And then I'm going to go across all those points. So it's just, dude, it's just full reverse. Like, hey,
gotcha.
I need you to do those things that I do for you. Maybe not to that extreme, but pick 2 or 3 things that make you a better partner for me. And that's something that Tyler Hilderman had Jake and I do leading up to the Olympics. Is he would have, okay, what's your focus personally today? And then how are you going to be a better partner? And we would have to have those be our like specific goals for that practice. And so for me, it was going to be like, hey, I'm going to focus on my set location. And really that's going to be a key point for me every time, is to try to perfect that location. Or, hey, I'm going to go on 2 as much as possible, being as aggressive as possible to alleviate a little bit of the pressure of him getting served. Or I'm going to really like talk today. I'm going to communicate way better than I ever have. I'm going to add a few things I haven't done before to see if they work. Those are the things that I would love a partner to do for me. And I feel like that's where you find those magic moments as a partnership. And then personally, what I would do if I've expressed that to my partner, like, hey, these are the things that would help me. And then internally, okay, what are the things that help me internally? Well, let's be honest, just playing beach volleyball isn't a very scary thing, and it's not the end of the world. So I think coming to terms with that in those moments, that helps. And we can all say that, but feeling it is hard to find, because it's always in the moment and things are stressful. And I think, to be honest, it's just, I think about, okay, I immediately go to, okay, what's the issue? What's happened the last 3 points? How do I put myself in a better position to get a better pass maybe? Maybe I haven't adjusted yet. I'm going to adjust my footwork or my positioning and serve receipt. All right, now I'm going to focus on getting a really long approach. If they serve me short, my sideline, down the middle, no matter what, I'm going to get a big approach so that I've got, I like to call it, I like the movie screen in front of me. I don't go to the movies and sit in the front row and then I can't see the screen all the way. Get back and get a big approach so I can see the whole theater, all of the detail watching, see everything. So that's immediately one of my things. Better position, my serve receive location, big approach so that I get a big window, I get the movie screen in front of me. And then I'm not going to predetermine what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself I'm going to get myself to the 99th percentile of effectiveness siding out. And then I'm going to react in the moment instead of deciding, hey, I'm going to go just high middle, because that becomes a tendency and people pick that up. So I think it goes all back to the process and the preparation. And I want to make sure that I communicate with my partner. I don't stay too quiet. I think that's a lot of our problem, is we get so internal and quiet that our partner's just like, dude, how do I help you? What do I do? You know what I mean? And then they get anxious. And then it goes back to that whole stress thing we talked about. Now he's stressed too. And God, now we're just crumbling, and it's just the snowball effect. So I want to stay vocal with my partner. Hey, dude, I got this. I'm going to get a bigger approach. maybe set me like a foot off, give him a responsibility. Hey dude, set me like a foot off. I'm going to get a big approach and I'm going to put it away. You know what I mean? And I think that's the process that I go through. Better positioning, maximum effort on my approach, keep that theater in front of me, and then react in the moment instead of predetermining what I'm going to do. Because I think we get into that shot or swing, full swing or super easy shot. And as defenders, that's the easiest thing for us to defend because we're showing that as attackers so much sooner than anything else. So you want to live in that gray area of that 3/4 speed, that 3/4 speed. And I feel like that would be, it's a lot of thoughts. But
I do want to lock you into one. Like, okay, you just made 2 hitting errors, like 1 into the net, 1 out of bounds. One thing that you tell yourself internally or ask yourself.
Yeah, it would be stay back on my approach. That would be it. Keep the ball in front of me.
Simple.
Yeah, that's so much easier.
On all the other stuff.
And then you just go down the rabbit hole.
And then it's just, all right, dude, I'm gonna just cook up a whole meal here of thoughts, right?
So guys, I'm gonna give you guys one more poll here right now, just because it's gonna help Casey with his content. It's gonna help us with our content and help us give you guys what you want. But it's, what do you want to hear most from professional players? So I'm just launching that poll. Do you want the volleyball drills that we use? Do you want like day-to-day life, like vlog style? Like Casey posts a lot about his family and his everyday and his 4 hours every day on highways.
I know, I got to stop posting about that. Sorry. I'm sick of watching it myself. I'm like, oh,
it makes me grateful to live so close to practice. I will say that.
Good. Okay. It's for Brandon then. That's
yeah.
Go ahead, guys. Use that poll. Go ahead and give us some votes. Like, what do you want out of like professionals' Instagrams, or if you're a part of their email list? Do you want volleyball drills, day-to-day life, workouts and exercises, the products that we use and love, advice on mindset and motivation? Do you want just our cool highlights, or do you want cool pictures? But go ahead and chuck in that vote on the poll there. Where is the poll? Why didn't it show up? Relaunch poll number 5. How about this? I'm gonna relaunch it. Hopefully it's showing up. Sorry guys.
Yeah, it's out there now.
Okay. I'm gonna share this with Casey as well, because like these little like bits of field research, it helps us make better content for you guys. And then Casey, this has been like an amazing talk so far, and it's already been 45 minutes, but we are going to get into, I think more people wanted to learn a little bit about attacking and your mindset there. Yeah. So once this poll is finished, guys, we have Casey's AVP Manhattan, the day he got his name on the pier, 2016 championship when he was playing with Jake Gibb against John Hayden. And he had, I think, 1 or 2 match points in front of him, and then they came back and they won against Try and John. So we're going to take a look at like his mindset, his positioning, where he was and why he was there when he was playing offense. And hopefully we can all pick up these tips. Cool. So a lot of these people, Casey, want volleyball drills. They came to the right place with us with Better at Beach. But now we know, like posting stuff on Instagram, you can just be like, especially with your mic'd up series that you're about to do. Yeah. Like what drills you were doing during that time. Like, hey, this is why we're doing this. We're doing this today. And then workouts and exercises, and then advice on mindset and motivation. And a lot of people like highlights. Nobody likes pictures.
You're going to have to write a book, man.
No more cool pictures. Bummer. Those are the easiest.
Cool. Just taking a picture of those poll results. And then, let's get into your match. Chris Moorhead loves the mic'd up content. Good. Okay, so we should be able to see my screen here. And then, we'll just scroll through it. And Casey, you kind of lead the way. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
Poll's still up for me.
Ooh.
AVP 2016 Manhattan Beach final. All right, let's see it. Let me get rid of this. My stupid computer likes to do things to me. All right. So here we are. I'm going to shrink this too. Get all these little things out of my way. All right. So first serve of the game. Let me just talk me through first your mindset going into this game, if you can remember 4 years ago. What your game plan was, because this is Try and Hayden, who you were going to serve and what you were going to do offensively.
Yeah, with these guys, they were so versatile and they both sided out at such a high clip. With them, The first initial strategy was real tough middle serves. Kind of get them to deal with each other a little bit more versus just targeting one guy, at least at the start.
Okay.
Oh, great start. Love that.
Is it because you know them?
Yeah,
Dude,
brief history on this matchup between these two teams is that on the for 4 years leading up to the Olympics, we played this team more than any other team in the world on the World Tour and then on the AVP. So which was good because we were basically head to head fighting for that second spot to go to the Olympics after Nick and Phil. So it was, we both, at least Jake and I, really love that because we felt like at least we're playing the guys that were trying to take that spot away from us. And it was, immediate head-to-head against those guys versus like them drawing a low-level team that made it through the qualifier in a World Tour event, and then we get like a Bruno Alisson. Like we would way rather play each other more often versus not, because then, we were in control of our destiny in a way because it was against each other.
Okay, that's really interesting. You're like, all right, I don't want to see Canada go and lose to them because then I'm just going to be pissed at Canada where I have no control. I would like beat them on my own, so that way I know my trip to the Olympics is either my fault, and not in the hands of somebody else.
By the way, that body language of me where it looked like I was super mad at Jake, that was from before that in transition where I hit a ball right at Hayden and don't put it away. I'm so mad at myself right there. Dude. Which I think is really cool to talk about too. A lot of times us as players, because we're so like critical on ourselves, when you see those like right here, I think I go deep middle at Hayden right there. Like, what am that's so frustrating. I need to be going 3/4 of the sideline. Hayden guards that.
Can you define 3/4 of the sideline, what you mean there?
So right here, you see, I can see that try kind of pull, but that set, I left myself a little bit inside, so I couldn't really turn hard line. So I'm just going, okay, I'm going to go deep middle. But Hayden knows I want to kind of target that location. So instead, I need to be going that same almost speed with more hand control to finish the ball towards the sideline and follow through. So I've got peak performance output on my approach, like max approach, but then I'm going to take all that control and put it in my hand and dart the sideline versus right in his lap. Because Hayden's too good at that stuff above his head.
Yeah, he is. His hands are just magic.
Yeah, he's
like if you see replay after replay of his hands, they never leave his belly button to nipple line. Like it's it's like he's always like in basically like combat fighting. Like
yeah. Right.
So you said that you got a little bit inside on the set. Would you like blame this set? Because for those of you who are like looking at it right now, we talk about like a set falling on the left side of your body is usually a not great situation because it's more limiting than if the set falls on the right side of your body. So do you think that this is a set problem or an approach problem right here?
An approach problem. I did a great job of getting the distance, right? And I'm staying behind the ball, which is exactly what I want to do. I kicked out 2 feet too wide by not stopping my momentum and then going and stepping a step close directly to the ball. I've rounded it out and I'm kind of like my last 2 step close steps are finally to the ball, but I would like that step right there to be eliminated. That big wide one that I take with my right foot right here. I would rather be a whole body length closer to Jake. Like right there, I should have stopped and then gone straight in.
Instead of your left getting almost outside and in front of your right.
It almost crosses over my right foot, right? Yeah. It does. Like I've got to step over my left foot.
So now you're always going to be diving at your left arm. Okay.
And then that would have opened up your attack back at try.
I would have been able to, expose him pulling. And I think that's why he pulled, though, because he saw that a little bit under it and I'm cockeyed. So that affects my vision. So now I've had 2 chances to put the ball away, which is super generic. I hit a JV cutty at Hayden right there. I'm thinking, dude, you hit a JV cutty. You want to make varsity or not, dude? That's what I'm thinking. Of course, they want to test me out, right? They're like, they've got me 2 times in a row. They're like, let's go at him again. Let's see what he's going to do here.
Do you think that they came into that with this game plan? Who are they normally serving at this time?
So I would say it was pretty equal. The same thing back to us. They would try to exploit middle and then short sidelines at us to try to get us to kind of deal with each other a little bit more and then expose a guy if he gave up an air.
Okay.
We kind of approached each other in a similar way. Very balanced out services towards all four guys.
That's how the game ends in the end. Oof. Oh, they're flipping out.
No, that's the famous double joust.
So I played Jake and Taylor last year, and I saw like 3 pictures of Jake still on the ground when I was hitting the ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, what is he doing? And I started learning how much he does stuff like this, where he's waiting for you to shoot so that he can swat. There's so many times when Jake gives up a crushed hit because he trusts his defenders like you back here.
Yep.
And he says, you know, okay, I'm going to get a touch no matter what on a shot, because he knew that I was a shooter for a while.
Right.
And now I'm sort of changing it up, trying to even things out. But he would ignore swings, especially now he's got like Taylor behind him who can
dig everything.
Ingapeth or whatever, you know. But yeah, he does that reach where he's only worried about a shot. And it looked like you were both kind of committed there to either he's going to go cut, high cross, or high line, but you left everything else open.
Yeah. Do you want to go back to that's exciting. Let's go back and start that. This is a 4 call. So let me give you a brief history really quick, a 15-second history. Over the first 2 years of us playing together, we ran all these traditional types of defenses and we were successful, but we felt like we still needed to improve. 2 things. I needed to dig more balls because I was transitioning 90% of them. Like his setting and my offense was like, that was our biggest threat on defense. Like we could do such a good job of that. So it was like, how does he become a more effective blocker? By that, I mean, how does he affect how attackers play the game? We used to call that the Phil factor, right? Like Phil makes you play a little bit different, makes you feel like you have to play a little bit more perfect and you have to be a little bit more like spectacular to beat him. Well, Jake is so good at reading and processing that we adjusted his timing to be able to process longer and then make his move. And so what that did is it gave him the ability to capitalize on more of these balls that should be blocked and affect how a guy attacked the ball. And then that made me more confident and calm to be able to make that long 4 or 5 steps to the line, but be patient doing it. So, and by how you started it with his hips, our whole strategy was he had to let the attacker's hips pop before he was allowed to go up. Now that serves 2 parts. It gave him more time to read and it made him longer at point of contact. He was taller and bigger and able to play with more options. And then secondly, it made an attacker, it's out of their eye line for a longer period of time. So the longer period of time you don't have information goes back to the stress we talked about. The more stress you're giving that attacker. And unless they're behind the ball with a big approach and they're coming in like a freight train, you're going to start to second guess some of their decisions, which is that exact shot. It's a hopeful line shot. I hope this is the right answer. Not, I know it's the right answer. That was the whole difference in how our defensive scheme improved, is that we played a lot off that mentality.
So it looks like this is kind of a similar type of setup, except now instead of a 4, you're running a 3.
Yep, exactly. Okay. Exactly. And I think understanding, to all the people watching, understanding the 4s and the 3s and the 1s and the 5s and whatever the ball calls, there's always something you have to be okay giving up. There's always something that you've got to be okay with giving up. Like in a 4, I've got to be okay giving up the absolute line hammer. I've got to be okay with it. And as a team, we have to understand it and be okay with it. It's the only way you're going to trust each other and be able to run the timing that works effectively where the attacker doesn't see what's happening. So as a 3, you're giving up like a hard swing angle. On a 4, you're giving up the fast swing line. And if you guys can be okay with that and understand that, hey, we don't always have the answers and sometimes they're just make a great play, like that's going to make you more confident over a longer period of time. And then it gives you that ability to make those rad comebacks because you understand that. You're okay and you accept they're going to make great plays and that you're giving up specific things. You're taking a chance on that, but a lot of people that watch like, dude, why didn't you go line? It's like, well, dude, that was the one thing we were giving up because it's going to set us up later on in the match.
I like that. I like knowing that you're always giving up something and that you should not be mad after every point you lose. It's like the equivalent of a chess player like flipping out after he loses a pawn.
Yeah.
Like,
right,
bro,
like,
that's part of your game. Like you have to lose that in order to get the information and get the setup that requires like the win later.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a perfect analogy.
Okay, so good defensive moment, but let's stick back to topic here on your offensive attacking here.
Yeah.
So here's Jake, gets the pass, and he moves back, right? Yep. He's already at 3/4 depth, and then he gets more space. And how do you react to people, Casey, when they look at us and like, oh, well, of course you set high. Of course you have that long approach. It's because you're 6'7". It's because you're 6'8". You're 6'3". You're 6'2". Nick is 6'1", and he might have the longest approach in the AVP.
Yeah.
Like, how do you coach that when you're telling people, you know, how far from the net their approach should start?
Yeah, I think there's two things. I think everybody has their own separate strengths and weaknesses, right? So you want to try to eliminate those weaknesses and give yourself optimal opportunity to side out. So I feel like for most people, having more room than not is better. Getting scrunched and small, losing a little bit of vision, because now the closer you are, the smaller things are, the less time for information you have, and the less time to react to something you see you have. So there's a time and a place for all those things. But I think giving yourself more room is always going to benefit you versus be a negative thing. It's always going to be better in my mind. And then two, being tall, short, or whatever, that doesn't matter. Being able to build up some momentum so that you can jump higher and swing harder, why would you not want that versus like a two-step gather with no approach? It's like digging a cut shot and you just don't go anywhere. You stand up and then you're like going to get absolutely housed because you have no vertical, you have no reach, you got sand in your eyes and you're blind. Well, if you were to get up and get even just 2 steps back, now you immediately bounce. I keep going back to stress. You immediately bounce that stress from being on the ground to, hey, I got an approach here. I'm coming after you. You know what I mean? So that's my mentality when it comes to that approach, distance, and preparation for everyone.
You think that we're trying to get an approach because we're tall, or we need a high set because we're tall? It's because we want to jump higher. So if you're shorter than 6'7", 6'8", 6'3", whatever, like you need a longer approach because you want to jump higher.
Exactly.
You know? And it creates your vision, field of vision, where even if you do want a lower set, keep the approach long so that you gather momentum to jump high for your low set.
Right. Yeah. It's like no one really block jumps higher than they approach jump. That's what you would basically be putting yourself into a block jump type mentality if you don't give yourself room. That's 6 to 8 inches that you don't have where you would if you would have gotten yourself a big approach. It's perfect.
Okay. I want to see you on offense here again. All right. So they're going, they eventually stop going middle. They're going to give now. Give doesn't do that normal right-sided shuffle in here. He stays a little bit wider. So as a setter, what are you thinking when you feel him here? I doubt he's talking, but tell me, like, is he talking middle on you up, or do you just feel him?
No, I just feel him there. I just see that he gave himself some more room. So what I want to focus on is giving him a little bit more of an apex on that set. So that way he's got a little bit more time to process the location and step close to it.
So he's further away and you felt that he had more space than normal. So as a setter, you made the decision to put it higher.
Yeah.
So that he's got time to get his feet there.
Right. Similar to an indoor setter, right? Like you see that your outside hitter maybe passes on the ground, but you want to go to him for some reason. You're going to give him a little bit more time, right? You're going to assess the situation and then give him an optimal opportunity.
That's awesome, because one of the problems we run into, like in our Volley Camp Formosa classes, it's that we hear kind of amateur players saying like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You know, like somebody's about to set and then they're asking what set they want in the middle of them setting. and I keep promoting to the players, you have to understand and use your peripherals to know where your hitter is.
Right.
And you got to lay it up on their right arm. That is your number one rule. Get the ball to 3 feet from the net and get it somewhere near their right shoulder. And that's the set that they want. No matter what they tell you, that's the set that they want, like, or that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Better that situation for your partner and then let them make a decision.
Okay. So guys, it's important to talk. It helps your setter. But if you're a setter, your job is to feel your hitter, know where they are, get it to their best location, and whatever you guys determined was their best location. Usually it's the right arm, though. Okay.
Little Mark Burik.
Am I giving it away that early? Yeah, but I don't have a 7'1" wingspan so that I can just stand and make like that.
Yeah. 8'9" standing reach helps with that one, guys.
I still think it's higher.
It probably is.
I think it's closer to like 9'5".
Ooh, shank.
Okay, so what do you do here? All right, you shank to the opposite side of the court.
Yeah.
What happens?
Jab pass, right? Kind of jab at it, catches me high in my midline. The key here is I still want to step back and give myself room. That's something that Stein.
Don't chase him because he's in trouble. Like, he's diving for the set. You're not going to chase him and help him.
Don't follow your partner, because then you'll be under the ball and blind. This situation happens more than anyone will be willing to admit, that they pass a little bit fast or outside of an in-system pass, and then they get anxious and charge the ball. So the key is step back and stay behind it, because you almost want to treat it as if I get a back row ball, like, let's go back to like an indoor analogy. If I get like a pipe or a D ball and an A ball, I want to be prepared and have approach to maximize that, which also goes back to what we talked about earlier, our approach distance. Now, no matter what, on the net, off, high, low, like, I can either speed up, slow down, but I always keep the ball in front of me on my right arm. And that's the goal.
And Jake, I mean, in this moment, Jake, the like, going back to what we just said, like, he doesn't have time here to hear you say something, let it register, and then decide that that's the location that he has to get it to. He just needs to remember the last place he saw your body, right? So now he loses you. Yeah. So now, like, the last place that he remembers you is here. So his job is to lay it on your right shoulder, because that's his last vision of you, even if you don't say anything.
Right.
And he does pretty much exactly that.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
You step close and have an approach to try to hold and block.
Oh, another 4. So you were doing this all game. Oh. Good scoop. Just a little.
Yeah, Try had a tendency of, we played them so much that we kind of knew what timing we needed to be confidently running a 4 on him, and it worked out more often than not.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, big boy.
Jeez. Just a little tap jump.
Look at that vertical.
That's a toe dragger. Oh, hair over though. Jeez, it wasn't even fine.
Good penetration. Yeah.
And your arms are touching the back line.
Yeah, I just forced it in.
Hey, do you think that this might be a dangerous? I mean, so Jake from the line serves Hayden's line, and Hayden's like an on-2, looking nonstop for on-2.
Yeah.
But you decided to serve that line, and I know that Hayden would want to just chuck this over here to try if he gets a neat ball. And you have Jake running down that sideline. Does that feel, again, against offensive, but does that feel like you've left something open there?
I think at this point we'd gone and try a few times, and we talked about kind of adding a wrinkle and just throwing in a different tempo, mentality, and like feeling by changing our service location and kind of the angle of the ball. And we were willing to take a chance. We had talked about, we always have a plan about tries on 2 and who's responsible for what. So if it happened, we were okay with it. We were already ready, but we wanted to test John and see where he was at. Because sometimes if you don't go to a guy a few times, they get a little jabby, like I did in that play earlier where I kind of shank a pass. And so we're kind of playing on that in that moment.
Cool. All right. And you went to John again, and you got another one here.
I think does he go on 2 here or no? He sets.
That's a fast cut shot right there.
Yeah, Johnny doesn't really hit that soft little touch one very much.
He just slaps it.
Yeah, he kind of high fives the ball.
Yeah, it's funny. You and John's wrists are like completely opposite.
Yeah.
You're like super carvy, you know, your hand like cuts around the sides of balls, and his just like takes from whatever side he wants it, like he hits it dead on. No,
Yeah.
no side spin.
Almost like he like open hand tips it sometimes.
Mm.
Like those little line taps. He's like, boop. Oh.
You want to see that again?
I used to call that the ex-girlfriend shot. My shot here in transition. I'll tell you why. Oh, perfect set. Just super easy, loopy line. And I call that the ex-girlfriend because it's like the one that always comes back to haunt you.
Oh, that's great.
Shot right now. In your hand and you want it back. You're just like, don't hit it.
Oh, man.
Jake's here. Okay, so here Jake does this step in, right? He steps in but steps back at the same time.
Yeah.
I want everybody to pay attention. Like, here's Gibb. He passes from right here where he was standing, but then he moves towards Casey, and then that step backwards right there.
Yeah.
A little bit extra space. Oof. Way to be attention hiding.
Yeah, geez. Free ice cream cone. Boop. It's a good dig.
Do it again?
Oh, that's not a great. That worked out. That wasn't. I should have never done that, but that was me feeling a little bit overconfident and a little bit showboaty. That I would suggest not making that shot. That's one of those in the moment, feeling the flow a little bit and like kind of twisting a knife. Like it was kind of a lot of those things all combined.
Don't shoot high line on an open net. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this. Nice scoop here.
On rally.
Did you read that? Or you just knew that Jake was taking one side of the court or what?
Jake always was taking the side of John's side, so that cross, so that he didn't have to do extra work. And I always had the cut back.
Okay. It's nice. So you set that rule before you started playing. You said,
yeah.
We keep going back to defense, but you set that rule before you started playing. You're like, okay, since Tri likes to go on two a lot, you're always going to have this side of the court for on two.
Exactly.
So we don't have to think about it for the whole match.
Absolutely. Let's be as free as possible in our mind, understanding what we're responsible for so that we can react. Versus like, I don't know, what's line, what's angle? It's like just that side. You just have that side of the court.
Cool. I like that.
So wait, this is off of a serve?
Transition free ball here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think
This is that same rally. Wow.
I think I hit it off try, so he has to go over.
Yeah, and then you got the option ball, the jump set. Oh.
But I think that was a fun rally. I think what helped me sell that with Tri, because Tri recovered from that way better than I was hoping. I backed up and got an approach and I made a call like I wanted to attack the ball.
Okay.
So I wasn't just saying, hey, I wasn't just standing there. I was proactive. Look at that. I'm getting like kind of a gather step. I'm coming in like as hard as I can, big double arm lift. And then I'm able to kind of get him to bite a little bit. Or if I wouldn't have done that, he probably would have just gone right over to Jake and been able to be more effective as a blocker.
Ooh, good pursuit by the big boy. The big nasty. Look at this. All the way up until like at least a whole nother quarter of the court after he blocks.
Yeah, that's
great. Love blockers who pursue balls behind them.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for people who are beginners and intermediates, most right-handed left sides, once they pass, your job is then to create good space for your right arm, your shoulder, your hitting arm. So after he passes in the middle, Casey right here, he does this little shuffle outside, not because he wants an outside set, but because he wants the ball on his right shoulder and he needs space to come back in. So most people, they like a setter in the beginning, I think intermediate players, they'll see this move outside and they'll think that you're moving outside. So they'll set you to the pin. Instead, Casey's just creating more space for his right shoulder so that he has a bigger power window. Would that be how you would explain
what it is?
Okay.
Oh. It's 2 cutties he's got me on. Not working.
There's that space again. Right? Boom, pass. He's got space, but he adds more. Do you have like a certain width, Casey, that you would coach? Like, would you go 10 feet, 15 feet of width? What do you need? Or are you trying to angle something? Like, do you aim at the back of the court somewhere?
Yeah, I think every left-sider needs to be almost facing, if they can get to a point where they're almost facing that deep corner in the angle, because you want to sell that first and foremost before anything else. You want to have that as your like number one option, that high aggressive swing angle. Then it sets you up to be able to see better, keeps the ball on your right side. Then you're able to make any sort of adjustment with the information you're given after that point. So it's basically like a perfect way of gathering information. Now, I came in maybe a little early, right, and got caught under it because I wanted to come in extra hard. And by that time, I got stuck underneath the ball. So maybe I should have kicked out a little bit more.
You thought maybe more?
I mean,
I think maybe you're just early. Like, this is space.
Thank you.
Yeah, that step closed, maybe you just overran it because the wind has got to be going towards the houses right now, right?
It has to be because I went really far under that.
It couldn't have been you.
Gotta blame the wind. 100%.
Yeah.
That's the old Wilson ball, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, didn't have the spin detection.
Yeah, look at the flags. It's for sure the flag. There's the wind blowing out. I knew it.
Cool. So, guys, if you have questions for the end, we are going a little bit long, but we got to let Casey go. He's got phone calls and social media accounts to run.
We got to play the last point.
Oh, we will. We definitely will.
Okay, cool.
Last like 3 points. Those are.
I want to see the exciting look in your face when you relive the winning moment.
But guys, I want you to, like, if you have questions, I want you to go ahead and use that Q&A, but I'm just going to run a couple more polls here just for our knowledge. So we do sell online courses at Better at Beach. We have a setting course, a hitting course, an attacking course, a serving course. We have a 60-day strength training program. But we want to know what type of like pricing models you guys actually want to see. Do you want to pay one time, like a larger one-time subscription? Would you like rather a small monthly subscription just to see if you can test the waters and get used to it? Or do you want a medium priced like yearly subscription? Because the way that we do it, every one of our courses, it grows every couple of weeks. So like we're talking about attacking with Casey Patterson right now. After about a month and a half, when we finally get it edited and chopped up into like little bites, that goes on to the end of one of our attacking courses. Anytime that Casey here mentions like setting, we take that little chunk and we put it at the end of a setting course. So the courses that we have on betteratbeach.com, they never stop growing. Like a one-time monthly price means that if you buy that course today, it's going to be completely different in 6 months, and it's going to be way thicker and bigger. So we just want to know like what models you guys are more comfortable with so that we can make it as easy as high for you guys to get them and to subscribe to our courses. And then hopefully, Casey, we can do a little a full-on course with you at some point, and then you can be selling your own course with us, and that would be awesome if you're into it. So I'm going to leave that poll open for 10 more seconds. Just let me know if you want the small little monthly subscriptions, if you want a medium yearly subscription price, or if you would just rather buy it once and be done with it, and then it grows with you for the rest of the time. Looks like small monthly chunks is the winner. Cool. ending that. Thank you, guys. And then there should be one more question. Online resources you would use. And again, we're going to give this to Casey as well, because we're content driven. We have to be for the nature of the sport right now. So I'm going to launch a poll that says, what types of online resources would you guys use? And like, would you like to see Casey run on his own, us to run on our own? You want live training with question and answer, pre-recorded skill courses, skill course bundles, workout programs, drill books, drill apps, skill courses that have live online coaching. Like, would you want to take a hitting course where you get to meet with Casey once every 2 weeks with a big group, you know, online, where he's, you know, he gives you your next set of homework, but he also checks in on your work, or written blogs and drill videos and tutorial videos. So just let us know on those polls and Q&As, fill them up. We still have a ton of people here, so we're going to go a little bit longer. Casey, what time do you have until?
What time is it now? I got till about 1:45.
People are going to stay here with you as long as they stayed with Damo, then we can keep going, because like I said, we're going to chop this up, and you can share it on your Instagram if you want, and we'll definitely post it on YouTube. Casey, go ahead and write. Do you have the link to it? I have the link to it. The YouTube. So guys, if you are not subscribed to Casey on YouTube, I'm writing it in the chat right here. Please go follow him. You know how awesome he is. And it's just another channel where he's reaching out. And he talked about how important it is to reach out to fans and to interact with him. So he has such an appreciation for you, and he understands that. So go and subscribe to him. And while you're there, I'm posting our YouTube channel as well. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Every little bit of subscriber, it costs you nothing, but it makes our lives so much better and so much easier when we approach sponsors, so that we can get you discounts. Like, you give us a free subscription, you subscribe to our channel, it makes us stronger to approach companies and get discounts for cool stuff. And then we share those discounts with you. So you invest nothing and you save money in the end. It's worth it, it helps us out, and there's no harm in doing it. So go ahead and just subscribe there. And of course, I'm just posting Casey's Instagram and Facebook profiles just in case you guys want to head out before the next section of this course here. And please subscribe to us on Instagram as well. Go ahead, take that 30 seconds to go do that, then come on back and let's wrap up this hitting course for a little while. Casey, do you want to keep talking about the match, or do you want to answer a couple of the questions that our people are posting here?
Yeah, let's do some questions. Let's see what people are interested in hearing about.
A little bit of interaction. All right, that's the share to our poll. So Casey, just in case you're wondering, people want some drill videos.
Oh, okay, I like it.
And they do like the pre-recorded skill courses. That's good, because we've got 4 of them up already. We already have a hitting course, a setting course, a serving course, and a passing course. And they do want workout programs, but drill videos, another big interest. You know, that might be because it's my audience, right? You know, like, we brought a lot of people here from Better at Beach, and they're used to us. Like, they became fans because they love our drill videos. But yeah, who knows? Maybe that might be a big answer. All right, so Casey, Nick asks, what are your favorite shots?
I'd say one of my favorite shots, whether it's on the left or the right, we talked about it a little bit in the beginning of this match and how I wish I would have hit it, is a maximum approach 3/4 swing to a sideline. Those are my favorite ones, because that sets you up for the rest of the match. If you're able to hit those speeds where it's a maximum approach with a good hand controlled speed that's faster than a shot, but not a full swing that's giving your defense too much information. I feel like if you can play in that world, it makes it a lot easier for yourself over a long period of time to be able to hit effectively.
So a straight down, so it's definitely a downswing, but you're just not, like, because
like that one might be a little bit slow, but that was close, right? I want to come in, max effort, big approach. I kind of torqued on purpose there, but that's that speed. I want to have it in my hand for a longer period of time, as if I'm going to hit as hard as I can, but then finish it off with some control.
Okay.
It's the hardest for a blocker to read and for a defender to get.
I feel like Try is an absolute master at that. Like,
yes, he's very good in that world of those, like the 50 speeds of
pop, and always deep, and he'll go for a while without even like touching a ball defensively, and Man, practicing against Hayden and Tri back in the day, and then like a little bit of Hayden and Theo, when you go through their side out practice, like it's their turn for 10 free balls in a row, and you touched one of them, and you're like, what? Why am I even? I have no idea how to play volleyball. Like if I can't even touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Aussie, we got an Aussie here. What are your go-to things to change momentum against different teams? So like 2 things that you do when you're losing to change the momentum. What would your best strategies be?
Yeah, let's put ourselves in the situation where we're probably serving because they're siding out at will and we're on defense. And a lot of times we overthink that because we feel like that has to be the answer. So maybe like that scenario there, I got to serve super tough. Well, to be honest, the number one thing I do is I want to put that team in a position where they aren't comfortable or less comfortable. So let's say I haven't served middle from the indoor areas, from like area 1 to area 6. I haven't served that in the last set and a half. Maybe I'm going to do that. I'm going to give them something that they haven't seen for a while or that I know they're not as confident in, or I'm going to serve short sideline. I want to immediately throw a different, Stafford and I call that a wrinkle. With other partners, I've called it something else, but that I liked wrinkle a lot with Stafford is that we throw a wrinkle at them. You have to change the aura, mentality, and the feeling of the match with something different. And something that is great that you do, Mark, is maybe that's time to hit a sky ball. You know what I mean? Like it's just something, even if it doesn't go in, it changes like the aura of the match. They're like, oh, sky ball, okay. Everyone's like, everything changes. The timing of the guys watching your ball and going to pass, their approach, everything is just thrown off a little bit. And that's a wrinkle. So I think having those as the team to be able to implement when you don't feel like things are going your way, those work really well.
How soon before you throw in a wrinkle or a change of strategy? Like, does somebody have to side out 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row? Do you have to go untouched? Like, do they have, you know, where you're
I think it's an untouched scenario where there are 3, 4, 5 plays in a row. You're like, dude, we got to throw a wrinkle in. Okay. Because a lot of good guys, like Hayden does a good job of keeping you on the hook. Like, hey, you're kind of close, but not really. Like he'll let you touch it, or he'll hit it off you softly on purpose. Be like, yeah, dude, keep serving me. You're almost there. When in reality, you're not. So, right? Like he's playing the game. And so I think, you know, with specific guys, those times of throwing wrinkles are different. I think knowing your opponents is helpful in that scenario.
Okay. Would you ever throw a wrinkle while you're winning? Like if something's working, you've gotten 4 digs in a row. Do you change it to keep them off balance? Or do you just like keep hitting the money button?
Yeah, I think I would. For me, especially on serving, maybe not so much on offense, but on serving, I would throw in like, hey, I've been bombing my jump serve. It's been working effectively, but we switch sides. Maybe I just throw a deep float that's a little bit high that fills that time where they're used to getting the ball quickly and making a decision. Now they have to prep, their distance of their approach is different, their pass trajectory is different. I feel like that's a good time to throw in a wrinkle if you're winning.
I like that. I like that for really high level players, guys, where it's easy for somebody to get into like a rhythm and they look like they're doing something clockwork. But if you're out there winning or playing in like a B tournament, a double A, and you know that every time you serve them, you give them the same lollipop and they pass to a completely different zone and they get a completely different set every time, they're not really in a rhythm anyway. So if I were to coach like that moment, like they haven't established a routine of they can control a pass to one place, control set to one place, and hit the same shot untouched. So then I would say you don't need that change. But when you feel like a professional or somebody super high quality, they're just doing the same thing and it looks the exact same every time and they're kicking your ass, change something.
Yeah.
Even maybe before they decide to adjust to whatever you're doing. Okay, arm swing. Also, you mentioned about arm swings. Is that the same mindset for indoor volleyball too? DJRs, could you ask that question again? I'm not quite sure for you. Question for Casey is how can you effectively and fastly learn to look before the jump when you attack? So how do you learn to look? And,
I think
and
that's
Brandon, can you take over? I got to go for a second.
Yeah, I'm here.
body break. Leave the door open. Yeah, I think, what was the question again? It was, looking. Yeah, I think court vision is something that a lot of people have their own version of and get confused on what that is. To be honest, court vision is that preparation of a big approach and using your peripheral. That's probably 80% of your vision. And then that look is almost just like a timestamp type check. Like, okay, I'm just a quick look. It's more for the defense than anything. I'm not actually looking to be like, where are they? That's where they're going to be when I attack. It's more just to give them like, hey, I see you where you're starting. Now I'm going to use my peripheral the rest of the time to make sure that if you move, you adjust, you dive one way or other, the defender makes a fake or stays home. Like, I'm using my peripheral to see the entire time. And that look is more of just like hey, I'm letting them know that I'm keeping my eye on them, just to throw some stress their way. It's basically a stress look, like, hey, dude, I see you. Okay, now I'm going to go and attack and still continue to look at you.
Yeah, and setting yourself up for that. I really like what you said about the movie theater analogy. I think that's perfect, because everyone knows what it feels like to sit in the front row of a movie theater of a movie that you're really looking forward to. Like, now you can reserve seats, but like when we were growing up, like you just had to get what you got. And
exactly.
Those were always terrible. And that's the exact feeling you get when you're underneath the set, right? You're looking straight up, all you can see is the ball. But if you're sitting in the back, then when you're watching the movie, you can see that person 3 rows down to your right, that phone opens up, you know? And it's kind of the same idea when you're thinking about attacking, is if you allow that movie theater screen to be in front of you, then you're going to be able to see that defender make that little move. And you might not be looking at that person directly, but you are going to be able to see them, that little movement. And it's not going to change your eye focus, but it'll allow you to help make a decision, I think.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. You see the movie here, the guy's phone comes on over here, and you can see it while watching the movie. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what court vision is to me.
That's awesome. I love that. I'm just getting the
what just happened?
we have so many people. Hey guys, I love the fact that we're getting a lot of questions, but make sure that use the Q&A for the questions, not the chat, because now we're just getting overwhelmed. Let's Mark, are you back?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Welcome back. I don't really know where you were on the Q&A. It just keeps growing.
How can I break the bad habit of being under the ball when I hit?
I think we kind of just talked about that with the movie screen.
Cool. Keep yourself back, far distance.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most common question and problem, also when problem as professionals even, that we try to eliminate. Get it coming in early. When you're anxious, you want to side out, you want to force it to happen. Everything's different. You talked about that earlier. Every muscle fiber is reacting differently. Testosterone is flowing. There's people watching, and everything is faster and stiffer and quicker, and your mind just doesn't process it calmly and smoothly like you want it to. So I think avoiding yourself coming early is one, a big approach. And then two, I always tell myself, get the ball on your way up versus on your way down, right? That's a big indicator. If you're almost landing and hitting a shot, it's most of the time when you're hitting the net or you're getting stuffed or you're shooting out. So that's a great self-check. Was I on my way down? Oh, okay, I was early. So I always tell myself, get it on my way up.
Keep hearing more and more and more players saying, hit the ball on your way up, hit the ball on your way up. And it's funny for like the people who are saying like, I can't get my timing. I'm always so early. How do I stop that? I go, that is one thing that you will hear every single match, all the way from like the most beginner tournament all the way to this championship court. Like, shoot, I'm early, wait.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you're going to battle it every day for the rest of your life. So just start it now.
Get used to it. Figure it out. Yeah.
A lot of vision questions.
Any tips to consistently hit off the net or from unfavorable positions?
Yeah, I think this goes to a mindset that I like to have starting off a match. If I'm going to play Brandon and Mark, I know that they're going to grovel, they're going to grind, they're going to work hard, they're going to try to out hustle me. So in my mind, before we even play you, I'm accepting the fact that this is going to be really hard. No matter how well I've been training or how good I think I am or how many times we've played and you've beaten me or I've beaten you, that all of a sudden I'm going to understand and accept that it's going to be hard. Okay, so now I'm in the right mindset. It's going to be hard. So that means I'm putting in the work and I've put my mind and body into a place where I'm going to work hard no matter what. And I don't have an expectation of, dude, I better beat you guys 21-16 or it was an awful match. You know, that's embarrassing. I didn't beat these guys or they didn't beat me. You know what I mean? Like you always have like this specific expectation before you play a type of team.
Yeah.
No matter who it is. Or if it's a Nil and a Phil and Nick, dude, I hope we can just pull it out in 3. Well, if you think that way, then you're just like, dude, what are you even doing on the court? So accept that it's going to be hard and then play your game with your partner. So that goes back to how I approach kind of a lot of these skills and the mentality around the game is accept that it's going to be hard. And then anything else that happens that's positive, you're just like, sweet, dude, that's just gravy. That's just the frosting, the sugar on top. That's the cherry. You know what I mean? Like now I can feed off those.
Desserts are elaborate.
Yeah, sorry.
Sundays at the Patterson house are amazing.
I already forgot what the question was because I was
how do you attack from unfavorable positions? Like when you're off the net.
Yeah, it's perfect. So understanding that, hey, this is going to be hard. I'm going to get sets from all over the place. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to trust what I've done in training. I'm going to have a big approach. I'm going to focus on maintaining my step close and going to the ball. I've trained that. I've got a big approach. I always have a window of opportunity, and I'm going to step close to the ball on my way up. Now, my favorite balls to attack indoor as an opposite were those ones that were out of system, and I would come in like a freight train and just absolutely bury them because in system, everyone can play well. Training the ones that are bad and getting good at those and looking forward to those. I always look forward to like a dig and then having my partner running down a ball. And I used to even tell Jake, this is going to be fun as he's running for a ball because I was so excited to try to prove that I could put this ball away that I initially started with a positive mentality in that situation versus oh crap, he's 60 feet away. I hope I can just keep this ball in. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I'm going to absolutely bury this. You know what I mean? I'm going to really use this 3/4 high smooth swing and carve and hit a sideline and we're going to win. Like that's how I approach it. Positive mentality, big approach, give myself room and have fun.
Do you take anything off? Do you go harder, softer, flatter, sharper? Like when you get a set that's say at like 10, 11, 12 feet. So for people who have unreliable setters and they always get set off the net, like what's your advice to a young player who has to deal with all those offsets and bad sets?
The key is to use your hand control, stay behind the ball, and hit those speeds we've talked about it so many times now. Those in-between speeds, not a full shot, not a 100% swing, but those controlled elite level swings where you're carving the ball and hitting a deep middle or a sideline. And that lets you stay tall, smooth, and in control. If you tense up and try to swing, you bury it in the net or hit it out. If you hit a shot, it's too easy to see and guys are going to take advantage of it. So in transition, what made me successful over my career was being able to hit that exact high, smooth carve attack in those situations.
I like that. Yeah, because I think people have like an X or an O. Like they have 100% swing, where they consider like it's hard, or they have a shot and it's got this like arc to it where it goes way up and way down. It's like there are a lot of percentages in between that you need on that. A shot is not at 10% and loopy, and a swing doesn't always have to mean that it's just like you detonating. It's, what do you need to be accurate? What do you need to be under control?
Yeah, I love it. That's exactly what goes through my mind with every one of those types of attacks or that situation.
So Maria, you talked about the 3, 4s, and 5s, like the different types of blocker calls. We're not going to go through that during this webinar, but there is if somebody could find it, go ahead and find it and post it in the chat. But the McKibbins have a great video called Defense Explained on YouTube. And it's got, what a line means, what a 1 means, a 2, a 3, and a 4. And it's a great YouTube video. It's on the McKibbins channel. So go ahead right over there. And you can watch that after this, and that explains all the defensive calls. we'll take one more question from this, and then we'll get back to a little bit of game film where we can analyze it from you. But Casey, when defending a hard-driven ball, do you want to have a short reflex-like contact or a long contact on the ball?
I think that's going to change with where the attacker is and the distance from you. I would say the answer to that would just be having your ready position and your structure leading up to that dig be identical, whether you're going to make a long contact because you've got more time and the ball's traveled longer, or if it's like a quick attack and it's right in your lap. But I think just having those forearms up facing the sun, palms facing the sun, so that no matter if it's a long contact or quick one, that ball and the angle of your arms gets that ball to go up so you can make a play. I think that would be how I'd answer that in a way. I'm not sure exactly, but that would be my mentality around it.
We got a question. Casey, how afraid were you to face the Pink Flamingo team at the SmackFest tournament last October?
Did I? I don't think I've ever.
You even SmackFest?
I haven't played. So I played in the first MacFest ever that had the pro division. I played with Mike Lambert, with who was Brittany Hochevar was on my team. Who else? It was Paul Baxter.
Yeah,
but I haven't played in a long time. But I was probably really scared of them. Is that Troy's team or was that
my team?
That was our team.
Then I was really scared.
Yeah.
Okay, last question because I really like this one. And guys, thank you so much for getting involved with the Q&A, and thanks for sticking around this long. But what do you do to keep yourself in check months after changing a habit? So it's often that somebody, David here, he gets good advice. He changes his habit for 2 to 3 months, like works on it. But then he finds himself reverting back to what like he's used to and where his body is comfortable.
Yeah.
And I've experienced this too, Casey. So I'm wondering how you battle it. But like, I have this big back arch that my body likes to naturally go into, and it affects my vision and it makes my shot really slower. So the last 2 years, I've focused heavily on like keeping my chest upright, not leaning back, and having a shorter, quicker arm swing instead of leaning back. But my body's like natural instinct to go back to that 10, 11, 12 years of that big slinky arm swing. So when you make a change, how do you make it stick?
Yeah, I think the biggest part of being able to find that the tool to fix that again would be when you're doing it right, what is that feeling and can you remember it? And then what are the mental cues that you have leading up to that specific skill? Because I guarantee you're probably not thinking about that anymore. And then you recognize that you did it the old way again. And then you have to go back into, okay, what did I used to do in that situation? And so I think being very self-aware is the answer for all of these skills when we start to do things wrong. We go directly into, all right, I'm going to make sure I stay back on my approach and get it on my way up. That's how I answer every offensive problem for myself. And then I end up doing really well and finding myself comfortable doing it the correct way again. So I would say having something that significantly resonates with your mind that helps your body go through that process again versus like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And then you just don't know what to do to get back.
Oh, okay. So like a key, like a one-word name that you
right.
just like say to flip on whatever that one word means, like
right.
you say flamingo and to you that means like keep your head forward or something.
Yeah. Don't play for me.
I'm not sure what the final score was, but we're getting close.
Oh yeah. This is
my new deposit. Oh, no.
Right.
I think they had 13-12 on us on the side switch. And then
is this when the freeze was in?
No, there's no freeze.
No freeze at this point. Okay.
No freeze. So I think they have match point here.
So match point for Try and John. Let's go from, wait, is that 14 as well? I can't see it.
It's 12-13 right now.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And that was a good point because I think I hit that ball on 2 out, but John is right in the way and it hit him. I lucked out on that one.
So you got the double 4 called at 13-13. So a 4 is when Jake is going to allow the line hit to happen and he's going to reach into the cross at the last minute. And that usually means the defender runs the high line shot.
Yes. I'm giving up the swing and getting the shot. So we're waiting. And once he can't see you anymore is when we make that decision.
Ooh. Looks like it was the right call, just missed.
Oh.
I mean, to me, you know, when I see this now, of course, and it's tough in the moment, but this looks like something that Jake could have reached over and grabbed.
Yeah, and that's something we get stuck in as players, right? Like, hey, it's a 4 call. You almost put yourself in a cage where that's all you're really doing versus being able to maybe bounce out of it and take what is actually happening. But at the same time, like, his positioning and timing is pretty perfect. And I think I would prefer him doing that versus trying to reach back maybe high and get that, because then that just leaves so much room for try to swing there, and then we'll start to chase him, and then we're all over the place, and now we're screwed. I'd rather trust him with that timing and getting close. We like to call it just affecting plays. If you're not a blocker that's touching a lot of balls but not blocking, that's okay. You're affecting plays, which means that you're on that hitter's mind, whether or not you're scoring points or not. Which over the long run, that's going to benefit you and your partner. And I think that spins a negative thought from a blocker, like, dang it, to, okay, I'm right there. I'm getting closer.
And he was what, two inches from
so close,
shut down.
Yeah.
If Tri hits that, you know, half a centimeter in his hand differently, that's
right
over.
Whew. I'm not really even sure what swing that is with that block lineup.
Trying to tool Jake and just go high middle almost, it looked like.
Yeah.
Match point.
Match point.
So we hadn't run like a tempo one in the middle for a while, but we'd been practicing it. So Jake came in for like a 2-ball in the middle.
Wait, on match point? Like, most crucial time, you chose to do something different.
This is the wrinkle that we threw in. He's like, we kind of talked about it. I'm like, dude, what do you think? The middle ball? He's like, let's go for it.
What?
That's amazing.
Because if you think about it, they hadn't played defense against it the whole time. So just as much as it's uncomfortable for you, it's just as uncomfortable for them. Like, they had a plan. They have an on-2 option. They like, okay, Casey's going to go on 2 here. This is my responsibility. Jake's going to get this approach. This is our responsibility. Where you throw that in, then they're like, whoa, it's just a panic button, right?
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And I don't think a lot of the players, I don't know if I have the confidence of, like, match point, I go to do what works and what I've been comfortable doing, instead of thinking, like, how do I change it to make sure that they're off balance and I wreck their plan right now? Because, you know, they came up with a plan.
For sure. They probably had
my job is to obliterate that plan and then get the kill.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, so his second pass kind of off the net, right? 2 passes where he passed almost behind half court, forced himself into a low vision situation. And we're running a 4 again?
Yep. It's 3 in a row here.
Do you like your timing here, or is this too early for you?
As he's looking, I'm going, which for me is not great. But here's the deal. This goes back to what we talked about. Jake affected that last play. He almost blocked Tri. Now Tri is more worried about Jake than he is about me. And this is where trusting your partner in that timing and that process is going to pay off in the long run. Now I luck out and I tomahawk one because I overran it. It was so obvious of what we were doing. But that's because we trusted each other that play before we didn't score.
I've been kind of debating, like, what to do on this run line. Like, if you wait until contact, you're gonna need to sprint. But if you feel yourself getting early, for me, I almost want to turn my move into like a sort of shuffle, so that if he fluffs this ball middle,
yes,
at least I have a chance of recovering. Like this, where you're fully committed to that sideline.
He goes angle. I 100% agree with you. And that's something that I constantly implemented in defense for me, is to not be so committed on my plays to the ball. To be more of like a floater where I'm neutral and able to bounce out and react back if he would have gone high off Jake's hands. If he would have, I would have been screwed there.
Right. Yeah, because if you are anticipating he hits a high line, you can shuffle into that and lightly be there. Like,
yes,
you didn't need to be sprinting to that sideline. Ooh, look at this swing.
Yeah, I was just going high middle on this one. I'm like, I'm not taking any chances.
Thumper.
And for those of you, like for those people who are thinking about angles and everything, I only started thinking about this maybe 3-4 years ago when I started working with Evie, that there is more angle than just generic angle at John's chest right here.
Yeah.
There's short cutty, there's long cutty, there's sharp chop cross, there's jumbo, there's hitting John in the face, and then there's the middle cross, right? But there's a lot of different types of crosses that I think people need to embrace a little bit more so that this ball gets untouched, like Casey hits right here. The seam cross, which is between the blocker who's committed to the line and between John, who's has to be in the middle of his court there.
Yeah. Because I mean, as a defensive team, how bummed are you on that? Like, you're in two really good positions. You're taking your job, tries guarding the middle, he's taking it. John's in the meat ready to play, and then it's like right in between them both, and just like, oh, it's so demoralizing in a way.
Well, it kind of looks like you that set got a little pushed outside you, and if you watch his right hand, he completely falls for reaching with that right hand, which opened up that seam.
Right.
Yeah, his left hand had the line. I don't know why he put his right hand there too.
That's because,
but I mean, I think that's just what happens in the heat of the moment, where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna grab this ball, and
right.
I think Casey got it too quick.
I think also there's a lot of history and tendencies that he's playing off of. Like, I loved going high flat line in that situation more often than not. So I think he was making actually a really good educated in the moment play, and I went with something that I didn't normally do. So I think that kind of also played a role in that whole situation, the inner game.
Okay, so you ran a
15-14.
Got a block touch, ran a 4 again. You got a high line dig. We're on defense here. What do we call 4? So 3 4s in a row to end the match.
Yeah.
Another sideline serve.
Great serve.
This is
that
slow shuffle into it. Look at so a little bit of step wide so that it makes Try think that the line is even more open.
Yes. A little bit more bait.
A little bit more bait. Still, I think an early leave, but
I agree, but I think also with the pressure that he's going through right now,
he's a little bit blinded.
We were okay. We could get away with it a little bit. I agree.
Yeah. He's not looking at you at all.
No, he's just worried about getting it past Jake. And me going early actually paid off because he went a little quicker.
And this is where you go over to Stoke and Dottie and all those guys. And Keeter was in that box, I think.
All the legends, dude, just talking the whole time. Get your plaque on the pier, dude. This is your shot. And just the whole match. It was so fun.
And talk me through the swing that finishes it here. So you got the dig. We talked about the defense. Talk about this swing. What's going through your head right now after this dig?
I'm like, stay back. Don't go early. Just keep that ball in front of you.
That's what you were thinking. You weren't thinking like, get this kill. Get this fucking kill. Sorry. Get this kill.
Because Tyler had, I think we called a timeout somewhere near the end of this game. Either they did or we did. And Tyler said, dude, when you get your dig, make sure you remember to stay back and let's hit that 3/4 angle dart that you love. So I'm like, okay. So that's all I thought about.
So on match point, gets a dig for Manhattan Beach Open, gets the dig for match point and says, wait, stay back.
Yeah, just wait, stay back. And make sure you run at all the legends in the box behind you.
Oh, that's amazing.
So good. Jake's like, whoa, where are you? I'm like, I'm over here, dude.
There's Stokey.
Do you have like a feeling right now of like similar to when you won it at all? I'm sure you've watched this game.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
It's like goosebumps right now. You know, first thing I said is like, I made it. Like, I always like to compare like the plaque on the pier of like, kind of like the old ancient Viking heaven, Valhalla. Like, you got to go with all the ancient warriors who died like in the heat of battle. I was like, I made it. You know what I mean? So like that feeling comes back every time I watch it.
That's
so
awesome.
Cool. So awesome.
Good times.
Good deal. Hey, Casey, we're, man, can't thank you enough for joining us here. And do you have any partners, sponsors, anybody you want to shout out? Anybody that, anything that anybody should do? Of course, they should follow you, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
To be honest, first thing is to keep supporting you two guys. I think you're doing such a great job in providing so much quality and knowledge and help for players at every different level. I feel like, number one, support the players that are currently in this dream life of trying to be a pro that doesn't really pay, but we get to like make it happen. So I think, first of all, support you guys. I love it. I love what you guys are doing. And then like you said earlier, Mark, I feel like by supporting us, it's by like liking and following us and engaging with us so that we're able to provide, you know, affiliate codes and discounts to you guys with all the brands that love and support us. And that's how you kind of support us in a way, is that you just kind of help us that way. You're not even really financially supporting us. You're just giving us an opportunity to share our platform. And I feel like that's how we have to do it these days. But, you know, I've got a list of sponsors that has changed and evolved over the years, and everybody's paying less or differently, or you've got to be an online salesman with your affiliate codes, like all that stuff. It's so different. So it all comes back to just the fans and all of us loving the sport and supporting each other. So I don't really shout out anybody, but ourselves as players and you guys as fans, like we're all in it together. And so just like we want to help you by providing these webinars, you guys give us feedback and tell us what you need. And to be honest, that's the answer.
And Casey, I want to thank you personally, because for us telling them right now to like reach out. You know, when I was first coming out to the beach, I sent you, I probably still have it somewhere, but I sent you this Facebook message saying like, hey man, you played pro indoor in Sweden. I played pro indoor in Sweden. You went and like now you're an AVP pro. Do you have any advice? And you, like way back when, you sent me this long message back that I like couldn't even understand. The only reason I had the marbles to like send that message was because you had played in the same professional country that I played in. So I was like, maybe he'll think we're a little bit connected. And you wrote this massive response back and were super encouraging. So just wanted to thank for, I guess, always being
That's
that
awesome.
encouraging and that involved with people who are looking for help and advice.
I actually remember that. That's sweet. Stoked you brought that up. I remember that. Such good times. And then we battled in Huntington for years.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we moved on to greener pastures and but cool. So Casey, thanks again. Really appreciate you guys coming. Guys, if you want to stick around with me and Brandon for a little bit, we're talk just a little bit too. But gonna let Casey run. Do you have anything that you're getting into in the next week or month? Like, what's your plan for the next week?
Just trying to stay in shape, lifting hard, and then, you know, get random ball touches with the kids. I set up a net from Parkinson's in my backyard. They gave me a net, so I got it up, and we're doing like pepper over the net and just passing drills and teach them how to serve. So I get my own passing drills. So it's been really fun to kind of get my kids more involved with the sport. So that's what I'm doing. I'll probably be shooting some fun children type tutorials, and then ones that help parents kind of help their kids in a way too. So kind of coaching the
Love
parents.
that idea.
So because that's the world I'm in right now, is like parents got to invest, you know, $6,000 in club volleyball. Well, do they even want to play yet? I don't know. Like, here's some things you can do to help them kind of advance and see if they love it before you commit to a full lifetime of volleyball in the gym with whistles. So like that's kind of the world I'm in right now. So I'll be doing a lot of that stuff in the next couple of weeks.
All right, guys. He did mention Parkinson Net, so I'm going to go ahead and post a link that we have to a Parkinson Net.
Family has been doing it forever, and they support volleyball. They're cool.
Yeah, they do. I'm going to post that link, and it is, if you want to go ahead and invest in it, you go ahead and invest in it. But it's an affiliate link, so we might get like $1.50 out of it.
There you go.
Cool, Casey. Thanks again, man. We will talk to you as soon as, hopefully we could run this again, because a huge fan base came since we got you, and the question and answer session has been going off.
Sweet. Yeah, let's do it again.
We'd love to do it again, and then if not, we'll just see you at practice.
Cool. See you guys.
Yeah, see you soon, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course. See you guys later.
That was pretty cool.
Man, another one. These are every single time we get on, I'm like, I don't know if this one's going to be as good as the last one, but they're always good.
The mindset that he's you know, that like I felt that thing at match point where you finally get your dig and it's match point, and how many thoughts and emotions run through your head. And the one thing that he told himself before he gets his name on the pier, one swing to get his name on the pier, and it's stay back, wait.
I like thought about it in my mind when he said that, and my answer was like, I'm bouncing this over the pier. Which is probably why my name's not up there.
Oh man,
that's awesome. That was phenomenal.
Absolutely love that patience.
All the teamwork talk. I think a lot of people need to hear that, because a lot of people are going through this growing pain of beach volleyball, and they don't think about the fact that in order for them to get better, the people around them have to be there in order to help them get better, you know? So that mindset of going in and keeping your partners happy and keeping them productive is huge. And it's the easiest way for you to see improvement as well.
Right? So underrated, like how to talk to my partner to make them better. We say that to our guys in the classes a lot, right? Where we're like, hey, you've been hammering him now. You've been telling him what he's done wrong. You've been fixing his technique. You've been telling him that his set is tight. You've been telling him that he needs to keep serves in, just keep it in. And now on match point, you're going to need this guy that you've been kicking sand on for the last hour. You're going to need him to score for you when you have done nothing to help build his confidence throughout that match. And I think Casey just brings up those amazing points of build your player throughout practice, build them throughout the match, and find ways to take pressure off of them, because you need them. You need that guy to be confident at match point. So stop with all of the corrections. Do that in practice. Do that in pool play maybe. Mm-hmm. And then get to the point where it's like building time. Guys, if you are here, you guys showed a lot of interest in our attacking course, and we have 2 ways to get access to our attacking course. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post them in the link. Okay.
And Nick, or especially while you're doing that, Nick was asking about, he needs some tutorials for kids. And so these courses that we built out, they're absolutely perfect for that. They're complete courses. So you're not only getting the tutorials of how to perform each skill, but you're also getting a little deeper education on how they can be implemented into matches and how you're going to grow. So it's a perfect example for somebody who's a beginner. And it's also a good course for people who, like Mark and I, who are trying to figure out that 1% that can get you better and win you more points. Because honestly, once you get to a certain point, that's really what you're looking for. Mark, you can go ahead. I just saw that in the chat and wanted to bring it up.
No, absolutely. Yeah, people tend to think that like they can't learn anymore from anybody else, or they can't learn something online. And guys, if you got something out of this 2 hours, if you think that your game has improved, imagine like we have a serve receive course that is 19 video lessons, right? 19 lessons in just our serve receive course. And our memberships, they bundle all of these. So I've posted the links to our main draw membership, which includes passing, setting, serving, and spiking, and the 60-day strength and conditioning program. Or you can just buy an individual course for a one-time price, and that course just keeps growing with you. And that's for $84.99 right here. And I've posted those 2 links. So membership by far is going to be your best value. But if you want to just get a lifetime pass to that course, and since you are here, this isn't our normal price, but since you're here, we're only using $85 for a course. And we spent hours on this and learned for decades. And we constantly learn, as you see from our colleagues on the AVP and FIVB. And we incorporate all of that into a really easy to follow step-by-step plan to get you better at attacking. Because we covered a lot this week, right? Just on attacking. But now it's, well, what drills should I do to get better at that? How often should I do it? How many minutes a day? How many days a week? It's covered in our courses, and you can take a look, and it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So absolutely no worries. If you find that it's not valuable enough for you, get the return, get the refund, and no hard feelings. But we also have some sweet swag. You are welcome for doing the webinars and offering the courses. Absolutely, you can use these for learning indoor as well. Like our setting course, our serve receive course, massively, massively important for learning indoor passing, and all of the footwork that we use on the beach for attacking. You need it completely in indoor. It's just beach volleyball players have to be better at doing their footwork. I want to say that, but people are going to attack me. But you have to be better and more consistent because you are the person who is hitting every single time. If you get served, there's going to be no one else to hit and bail you out in that moment. So you guys can go ahead and check those. And if you are interested right now in the strength and conditioning course, it is a 60-day strength and conditioning course. Right now, there's probably nothing you could do aside from in-home drills, online learning like we're already providing, and a 60-day strength program, which is specific to volleyball players. It's stuff that we wanted. All of these tools that we're giving you guys for free, absolutely wanted you. So if you have any hesitations or any problems, like why you're hesitant, let us know, right? Tell us, like, I don't know why I would want to, I don't know if I could get better from learning online. If you think you got better right now from a 2-hour webinar, like spending it with us, there are so many more hours and access to every webinar that we have ever run and every private video lesson we've ever run within those memberships.
We originally designed these courses so that they could be used kind of in implementing them throughout your practices. Like, and that was going to be a very good addition to your already training. But especially since we're all stuck inside, luckily we were very close to being done with all this stuff when this whole thing hit. But all I've been doing is studying online, watching film, analyzing my game, trying to pick up new skills by watching players that are not myself. And these courses do a really good job of kind of helping you gain knowledge while you can't play.
You know, I just want to add, Brandon, like because I studied YouTube and I studied by watching players nonstop. And without somebody telling me what they were thinking, I was trying to imagine what they were thinking, what rules they were going by. Like,
right.
You know, having the ability to hear Casey or one of us say on match point, what is your thought process, right? You can make something up and keep going on that road, but it might be the complete wrong direction. Just because you see it and you come up, you decide that there's a reason for this, you could be going in a very, very wrong direction. And I know that I personally went in several wrong directions because I tried to come up with my own answers before I worked with my great coaches. And they like brought me back and like, no, you need to focus on one thing and that's it. You know, you don't need to think about these 3 or 4 different things. I remember the first time when I was 28, Matt Davis goes, what is your swing when you're in trouble? And I started like cycling through like, well, what situation, how far off the net I am. He goes, all of the best players in the world have one answer. And what is that answer? You know? And so I had to tell him that answer and we came up with it. And I was like, man, I needed one guy who wasn't even a professional coach, but was a very experienced player to corral my thoughts and steer me in the right direction so that I stopped wasting time. And if there's one thing that I don't want anybody else to do, it's to waste as much time as I did trying to come up with their own answers when we're already providing them in these courses.
Right. Yeah, we had that talk a lot last night with Damien, talking about how much of a difference a coaching environment had with him. And if you're attending this webinar, you already care enough about the sport. You know what I mean? You're already doing more than a lot of the people that consider themselves to be volleyball players. And if you're at this webinar, you're probably either a player or you're a coach. Mm-hmm. And the more information that you can take in as either a player or a coach is going to help you become better at that. Mark and I consider ourselves to be very good coaches. We've spent a lot of time studying under other people. We still take the opportunity to talk to our coaches that are still working with us. Whenever I know we got work with our arm swings a couple months ago, and it honestly felt more, when I was getting that lesson, I was honestly more worried about gaining the knowledge so that I could teach it more than I could apply it. And I think if you're a coach attending this webinar, it's something where we're trying to provide information for you as well, whether it's how to develop a practice plan, the keys to certain drills. Like whenever you show up to a practice, I'm sure Mark would maybe teach a skill completely different than me. But that idea is going to be very similar. And the one thing that is very similar with us is that we do use similar keys. And those keys are the things that help you out a lot. And if you're a coach or if you're a player that doesn't know what these keys are, then you're really just delaying your improvement.
You know, like, to me, the things are like, why wouldn't I buy a course? Like, one of them would be like financial, right? I was like, okay, you know, I'm playing here, and it's like, I don't know if I can afford it, but it's, if you're playing tournaments or you're coaching, how much are you willing to invest in actually winning that tournament? Because if you're already putting down $40, $20 for a tournament, and we're charging $80, like, you're playing 2 tournaments and you're getting your ass kicked, when the answers to winning are right here for the cost of 2 tournaments, when you can't even play a tournament right now.
I know for me, like, I moved out to California and I got bit by the bug of the South Bay, where you go out a lot and everyone's friendly and you want to go out and have fun with your friends. And I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, what's more important to you? Is it getting better at beach volleyball, or is it going out and having fun? You know, because let's say I was spending $100 a week at the bar, you know, I could take that $100 and I could pay a coach. So I think that that's a really easy way to look at it. You know, there's probably some things that you're doing in your life right now that are holding you back, and you know it, but it's just realizing that and kind of being able to make a decision and say, hey, I'm tired of just calling myself a volleyball player. It's time for me to be one. And I think that that's pretty big. And once you can kind of do that, it's gonna help you out in the long run for sure.
Somebody's asking right here, Air 51 is asking if we have the passing and the blocking one too. So we don't have the blocking one up yet, or the defense one up yet. Those are super in-depth and detailed. And what we do have is passing, setting, hitting, and serving, plus the 60-day strength and conditioning program. And that's just all in the Rising Star. Right, so that's just $35 a month for as long as you want to use it. And again, what you buy today is going to be twice as strong in 3, 4, 5 months when we continue to add all of the lessons to it. So those never stop. And if you ever get bored and you think you've learned enough from them, well, then it's time for you to come out to a camp at Volley Camp Formosa for 7 days. We run 7-day training camps in California. So as soon as this nonsense is done, definitely come and visit us. But yeah, serving, passing, setting, and hitting are all in the Rising Star membership. And it's just $35. How much would you pay to have a lesson from a national team coach, right? From a professional player for one lesson? In person, we charge $90. Right?
And that's the cheapest around.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So if you're looking at this and you're just like questioning, you know, is it worth it? How worth it would it be for you to set 50% of your balls better because you had one key, you know, to pass all those better? How much would it be worth it for you to stop getting knocked out in pool play, you know, just because you learned the simple keys that are going to give you those points for everything?
So Patrick is asking, does the main draw include all the stuff found in the Rising Star?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with the Rising Star has the courses for passing, setting, serving, and attacking. It also has the 60-day workout program, right?
Yeah.
And the main draw membership includes all of that, plus our complete video analysis library, in which that's not only are you getting stuff like we did today with Casey, but you're also getting times where Mark and I break down our own game, where you're personally getting to see what it looks like, dive into a video analysis, which a lot of people don't know how to do at all. And you're getting a focused idea of what that video analysis is going to look like.
Yeah. Every time we do our little pre-practice meeting or like our post-practice meeting where we're looking at film together, guys, we're posting that. We're adding those on. Every time we do a video analysis with our campers that are 7-day camps, we're adding those in. The value just never stops increasing, and that's our goal, is to just bring you value, help you get past those losses. And you might not understand why you're losing or why you're failing at something, and it's just because if you had somebody just show you the right way once, it would be there for the rest of your life. And somebody here made a great point. Like, it's it's worth it because it's a skill that lasts you for your life. Like, what about when you need to teach your kid? What about when you need to coach somebody on a team? Are you going to give them information that came from like the highest level, came from national team, and came from pro players? Are you going to, like, because you did it this way, right? How many times have I heard that from some 50-year-old who was playing in the bottom rung of an open tournament? Well, this is how I do it, and it works for me. But does it work for you? Is that knowledge coming from like a professional player and somebody who's coached thousands and thousands of hours and players?
That's such a good point, because, you know, I'm a teacher at heart, and imagine getting a research paper, a research assignment on the Civil War. And instead of doing research, you just write what you think happened and turn it in. You know, like, you're going to get a terrible grade, and you should, right? And that's exactly what coaches are doing that aren't willing to look at outside resources and are just relying on their own information, because there's so much out there that can make you a better coach. And if you're not willing to look outside, then, to be honest, and this is probably the only way to say it, you're just stubborn. Not only is it not fair to you as a coach, it's not fair to the people that you're coaching.
That's a really good point. It's not fair to the people that you're coaching if you only bring your own knowledge that you made up in your mind. That's like somebody going into a cave, seeing other people living in caves, like, and or seeing other people like work in math books, and then trying to make up rules to math, and then giving it to you and saying, I'm a math teacher. You know, like, be fair to your players, be fair to the people that you teach and the people that you interact with, and get quality information out there so that you guys prove way quicker. Spider-Man was in World War II. That's totally true. If I want to teach my daughters, which membership would you recommend that I get? I would say that you should start. So what level are your daughters, Danielle? Or is it Daniel?
Is that our guy, Daniel?
I'm not sure. But if you're looking to teach your daughters, so we do have the beginners course, which is really cheap. And it's just, so if they're super beginners and you're just looking for like an easy start, then the best place to start is going to be the rookie membership, which is $9 per month. And it gives you 3 introductory videos and drills on passing, setting, and spiking. Right, Brennan?
Yeah.
So,
and serving.
And a free drill book that you could do as well.
Yeah.
So like, that's a great start a place to start with the basics. Get those tips, get those keys. Again, we keep adding new tools into that membership and into each product. But if you are just a beginner and a lot of this was over your head or would be over the head of somebody who is starting, we built a beginner's course, and that is in the rookie membership. So aren't they all free on your YouTube channel? That's a great question, Nick. No. We do post a lot of videos on YouTube, but that's about 30% of the videos that we have and the courses that we've built and the tutorials that we have. So yes, we are putting it out onto YouTube, but even with 1 million views in the last 2 months, I think YouTube has given the 2 of us $80, to split, and that 1 million views has cost us a complete year of our lives. So yeah. YouTube doesn't pay, and if you appreciate good knowledge and you see the value in having a good coach because you want to improve, then this is the way to invest in yourself and to invest.
And if you want our videos to remain somewhat watchable by having a video editor like Tanya, I think she's still watching, who's absolutely amazing. But if Mark and I were to put these videos together, they probably wouldn't turn out as well or nearly as good.
She's having to deal with one of my edits because I tried to save her time, and it's a nightmare right now. And if any of you guys are looking for video editors for your small business or for anything, shout that out in the chat, because Tanya is here and she is a fantastic editor. And as a video editor creator, we are all at a time where we need some extra work. So I'm posting that in here. And if you can support our employees, that would be great. I'm a coach studying sports coaching. I have a lot of thoughts and would be cool to discuss some things over email or something. Do you guys think that would be possible? Yeah, Simon, that would be easy. I'll send you a Calendly link. Just right now, if you could send an email to mark@volleycamphermosa.com, I will send you a Calendly link where we can set up a time to meet. And yeah, I would love to hear more about that, the sports coaching in Sweden.
Well, hopefully a lot of you guys will be tuning back in tonight, right? At 6:30.
Yep. 6. Yes. I think we're going at 6 tonight. Where we have Kerry Potthurst, Australian gold and bronze medalist in beach volleyball, 3-time Olympian, and now she's catapulted her career to being a motivational speaker. So she talks about success not only like just in beach volleyball, but all parts of life. So what's your number one question that you're going to ask her, Brandon?
Oh man, I got to think about it. I love people that are motivational. You know, it's just something that really gets to me. And I am one of those people, as driven as I like to say I am. I do need the motivation. I need the motivational movies. I need the motivational quotes. I need the motivational books. Getting a chance to be on the call with her I can't imagine what I'm going to ask, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Definitely. I'm going to say, like, how do you convert, like, when you stopped playing? What were the first couple of years like when you're done with your sport and that transition, which can be scary?
Yeah, because especially whenever we're in the arena, so to say, our influence on people is quite large, and you kind of get used to that, and you really love the idea that you get to reach so many people. And one of the big worries that I think we do have is how can I maintain that influence once I'm done playing? And it's pretty cool that she's figured out a way to do that. So
yeah, right.
I'm sure we can take a lot away from it too.
Do I still have like a power base or a place to speak from if I'm no longer one of the best athletes in my sport? People can easily feel like their power base is removed there, and they might get more shy about talking than they during their career. Yeah, guys, that's it. Like I said, if you are investing in your game and you want private video lessons, we do have those. But the Rising Star membership is going to get you so far along the way, and we do have the individual courses as well, which we posted just the passing and the setting here. Well, way worth your time. I hope you guys enjoy them, and we would love to hear as much feedback as you guys can give us anytime. So go ahead and email us. Use Volley Chat on the Volley Chat forum on Better at Beach to communicate with us. Send us emails. Love talking to you guys. That's it. Brendan, do you want to answer any last Q&As here? We got 41 with one bonus. Do you want to scroll and pick one bonus?
All right, I'm just gonna scroll for. How do I even scroll? All right, there we go. I'm just gonna go blindly up and down, up and down, up and down. And do you see the game evolving into a more deceptive or more trick plays oriented, e.g. back overhead set attack? Yeah, I mean, and that was from Aaron. I don't know if you're still here, but I think that we're already seeing that. Teams are looking deeper into themselves, into finding how they can win. And I think that the game is going within the next 5 years. I think that we're going to see offensive styles that we haven't seen before. And I'm not 100% sure what those are. I think if I could predict them, or if I could come up with one, then you guys will probably see me on something other than Zoom, maybe SportsCenter or something. Yeah, I think that we haven't even broke the surface on how this game can change, and really excited to see what it's going to look like. We're already seeing it with the quick sets, with the spreading, with the running around, with the over on twos and deceptive ways. The sport's getting more entertaining for sure.
Well, Brandon, you wanna sign us off here?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys coming. Like we said, supporting us you can do it in multiple ways. If you are interested in getting better, obviously those courses or memberships are going to be very, very big for you. If you're not ready to spend money, that is completely fine. We love having you guys around. We love you checking out our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. And then also, if you enjoyed this webinar, talk about it. Tell your friends. Share it on your Facebook pages. If you see us, share it. That's one way that you can help us. That is completely free. And all it takes is a few clicks. And your friends will listen to you a lot more than they'll listen to someone they don't know. So that would be really, really big. And then I hope we see you guys tonight, and keep bringing the great questions. Looking at that Q&A and seeing 41 is pretty big. So that's really cool. I like the interaction. So I appreciate it.
All right. We need some kind of cool sign off phrase since we're gonna be doing this consistently. We'll have maybe Tanya or Chris Kawadi like develop some kind of soundbite for us.
Yeah, we'll have to find something so long.
All right.
Just because it's
in a couple hours, guys. See you all in a couple hours. If you're coming, have a good day. Hope we brought value. As always, check you later.
All right. Have a good one, guys. See ya.